welcome everyone to the Only Fools Love Horses Cheltenham preview night. So excited to be here. We've got a great panel. We're going to get plenty of winners and some great laughs along the way. Ash, I'm going to come to you first because we're 1 week out for the festival. Are you looking forward to it? How's the excitement building? And you live close enough. Is the atmosphere building there?
Well, I live close enough now. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, I wouldn't be in the game if I wasn't looking forward to it. And it's the mark of a good week, really. It's sort of, you try to sort of downplay the excitement through the year because if you keep sort of having it high hopes, it gets longer and longer. But we really are in the sort of peak of it now. And my week starts sort of on the Sunday and the Monday when I get down to the gallops in the morning, which I'm really looking forward to. And then when we get the racing start on the Tuesday, it should be cracking. So yeah, really looking forward to it.
Glad to have you. Harry, what about you? Again, 1 week out. The buzz is building and we'll have our annual preview night. We've been doing it for a fair few years now. Of course, we're infamous on some of these preview nights, but how are you feeling and how's the butterflies?
Yeah, but there's no butterflies, mate, to be fair, because, I just need to find some winners. If I don't find winners, then if I don't find winners, Lee, it's going to be a long old week. And I guarantee at some point in the week, it's going to piss it down as well. So it's going to ruin my mood even more. But regardless of that, it should be a great week. I'm really buzzing to see everyone. And regardless of what anyone says about Cheltenham, it's the buzz on Twitter. You log onto the Twitter feed right now and it's carnage. And that's what we love.
That's the greatest show on turf it is. Matty, I'm going to come to you. Of course, you're a big cog in the wheel there at Nicky Henderson's work right out of the famous Constitution Hill, which we'll get on to soon. But how are you feeling and how's the atmosphere on the yard as well, Matty?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Everyone's buzzing. They're looking forward to next week. It is sort of dragging a bit and we're just sort of getting ready to get the lads out there and everyone's in good form and the staff are happy. So that's the main thing.
Yeah, look, we'll get on Constitution Hill soon. Nick, I'll bring you in, of course, from Dan Skelton Racing as well. You're a big part there. You've been riding plenty of the Cheltenham hopefuls as well. How's the buzz across at the Skelton yard?
Yeah, we're revved. If you can't get excited for this sort of week of the year, then you're in the wrong game. It's just hoping now that everything stays safe, sound, and everything makes it that needs to make it.
Yeah, how intense is that this final week? Like, when would you Matt, you could maybe tell us when Nicky does his final bits, but is everything kind of done and is it just kind of ticking away over the last week?
Most of the sort of runners had what I'd say their last proper bit today, really. They'll tick over now. They'll probably have another jump, if not maybe 2 schools between now and then. Dan hides it well, but you can definitely tell that it's the week before Cheltenham.
Yeah. What about you, Matty? Like, is your work done now across at Nicky's? Are you just ticking away again, same like Nick in the Skelton yard?
Yeah, pretty much. We at the sort of Tuesday, Wednesday runners, they did their last sort of bits today, and Thursday, Fridays they'll do their bits either tomorrow or Thursday, and they'll all sort of school tomorrow or Thursday, and that'll be it then. Just wrap them up and keep them safe.
Yeah, look, fingers crossed to both of you. We'll hope all your team gets there safe and sound and returns back safe and sound. Well, look, Pete, I've left you last. Look, it's by design, but look, your excitement must be building as well. Of course, you've got your own website now. You've been building it up all season, but you're anti-post punter as well. Some have went by the wayside, I'm sure, like all of us. We'll maybe mention Sir Gino and the likes of that. But how's your excitement? And you got some good dockets. That's what we want to know.
Well, I was pretty happy, Lee, and pretty buzzing until you mentioned all the downside of my anti-post portfolio going down the drain with horses, especially brighter days ahead. That was a bit of a wounder, but I think we all knew that was coming. No, I'm really looking forward to the week now. This is the longest week of the year by far. Next week, best week of the year, but this is just, it's like you want to go on holiday and just turn up on the Sunday and it's like, right, let's go, because it's just such a long wait. Like these guys obviously live it, but at least they can see what's going on. Whereas we just get a snippet of, oh, he's got a bit of a cold, he might not make it, and then suddenly Twitter explodes. So I can't wait now.
Someone's got ulcers. Oh yeah, until
yeah. No, the sun's out now. The ulcers are cleared
the
up.
sun's out. Look, we'll get on to that soon. Look, we're going to kick off with Supreme Novices. It is the opener. It is the Raw as well. Pete, look, they've renamed the race after Michael O'Sullivan. Our thoughts very much still with his family. It's going to be a tough week, but look, his Marine National win there. What a buzz it must have been for the young lad, and it's such a sad loss. But that Raw, I'm sure we can send him on his way.
Oh yeah, no, it's a really nice touch both by Cheltenham and obviously by Sky Bet to rename it the Michael O'Sullivan Supreme. Obviously, absolutely horrendous the situation that happened, and it's very tough to take. And I know, especially obviously across the sea, a lot of people were close to him, and you didn't really hear from him for like a week, 2 weeks, because it did obviously, and I'd imagine it probably is still quite raw to a lot of people now. But I do think that come that day, especially with some of the big races on that day, and the fact that they've got the colours as well with William Money, I'd imagine it'll be one serious Raw, and everyone will be thinking about him and obviously the situation. So no, I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be a great start.
Yeah, and look, we'll start off. We've got Kopek de Boer there. Willie Mullins got a couple of runners in the race. Kopek de Boer is very strong at the top of the market. Won the Grade 1 there at the Cheltenham Festival, of course, from the Willie Mullins yard, which Michael was based in. Can he kick off with a win for the almighty Willie Mullins? Pete?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I didn't know you asked me.
Come on.
I can, to be honest, I do think just looking at it from the outside in, it's very tough to weigh up anything other than the front five. Like this, The races have obviously got, we used to have in the past, you'd have a big field, maybe 15, 20 runners, and they'd all have 4 or 5 runs, and you're like, well, this looks obvious, but it's becoming the norm is becoming there. A lot of them are coming with, say, 1 or 2 runs. But you look at the form and all the graded horses, like William Money and Work Ahead form with each other, and obviously with Cowabunga. Salvatore Monday is just an enigma. It could be anything, it could be nothing. And like you look at the difference, I don't know if any of you have seen the difference in Willie Mullins' write-up for Kopek de Boer compared to Salvatore Monday, and it's almost like a hopeful rather than confident. And Willie stated himself, he said he could be one for the future and he will enjoy this test, but he's got to put plenty together. But I do find it hard. I think Romeo Coolio is solid, but I do think it's hard. Obviously, it is obvious, but I do think it's going to be very difficult he sets such a lofty standard. I just have 2 concerns of him. One is the fact that Willie didn't mention it as such a negative, but he did mention, Paul said, he ran away with him 3 times in the race. And I mean, you'll get away with that in a race like at the DRF. That wasn't the strongest. Like last year, it was a stronger race on paper, but like Carniquet is going to be a handicapper. And like he did run away with it and he had nothing to beat, but obviously he couldn't have done it any more impressive. And obviously everyone's mentioning the antics beforehand, but at the end of the day, the chances are he can only be better than what he was. And again, Willie Mullins mentioned that today. There are things that he's been working on. I do think the bookmakers will come out to get him, and I think you'll get bigger than evens on the day. But he looks the most likely winner to me.
The most likely winner. Ash, I'm going to come to you. Is he the most likely winner for you? And if not, who's the strongest danger?
He probably is the most likely winner, but I want to take him on just for all the things really Pete said there, and the fact there are question marks for a horse who's odds on in a Supreme. It's going to be the buzziest race of the whole festival. It's going to have to take a horse to really settle, and if he's got his question marks about assessing, potentially running away, and even jumping, like he wasn't very good the first day, much better second day, he could revert to old type with it all getting in his head. I think the horse to take him on with is Work Ahead. I really like this horse. I've sort of cottoned on to in the last couple of days, but just very rudimentary sort of time analysis. And Harry's going to love my getting the stopwatch out here. But his maiden.
You're already talking drivel, and we've not even been on for 10 minutes.
His maiden hurdle win, he carried £5 extra than Kopek de Boer that day, and did exactly the same time. Very, very similar time overall. He was 1 second quicker from the third last of the line. It was very foggy that day, but you could pinpoint where they were jumping the third last all the way through to the line. 2 seconds quicker than the juvenile hurdle on the same card. Juvenile hurdle, Hello Neighbour won the race, carrying £12 less. All of the sort of pounds and time works really, really in favour of Work Ahead. And you've got to remember that Henry de Bromhead's had a fairly bad season by his standards. His horse hasn't been running to great form. If he was able to do that when the yard wasn't at its best, then what can he do when the yard's starting to come back into form, which it really is? I think Work Ahead's the each way play into this, and 12-1, whatever price, I really like him, the Supreme.
Nice, a nice 12-1 each way play there. We've got the favourite and we've got an each way play. The form's working out very strongly there for Work Ahead. He could be the fly in the ointment. Harry, what about you? Who wins the opener? Get us off to a flyer.
Look, stop talking shit, Ash. Like, this thing will win. This will get everyone off to a flyer. There's no need to make this any harder than what
Ash was odds on to go against the odds on favourite.
This is point and shoot. You know, the way that this horse improved from first and second run. As a novice, Nick will back me up in this, and Matthew will as well. There's any amount of improvement. The horse that we saw on debut with Patrick on board was not almost the same horse that won at the DRF. I thought it was a monster performance. He looks more mature every time that he's getting onto the track. Look, regardless of what anyone says about the antics, pre-race, whatever, he was worked up at the DRF. You could see that walking around the parade ring. He was sweating like God knows what, and he still went and battered all of the field. There's nothing in here. I mean, I think you're looking desperate if you're trying to take him on, and you shouldn't take him on. Everyone should get off to a nice, happy start. Everyone will be laughing in the Guinness Village. Just back Kopek de Board. It's that simple.
I always like it when Harry goes against me, by the way, because it fills me with extra confidence.
It's 2 votes there for Kopek de Boer from Harry and Pete. Ash is going each way on Work Ahead to get things off to a flyer. I do think Kopek de Boer is a beast. He come back in the parade ring. I was there full of beans and we still managed to do that performance. I thought it was electric. I don't think he's a get a bird I think he's more in a, I'm not saying yet he is, but a Victoire or a Duvan. I think he is He's a good horse, and I think he can kick off with a flyer. Lads, I'm going to come to you for the Arkle. We'll move on to the next race. It is over 2 mile. It's the Grade 1 Chase there. Pete, sorry, I'm going to come to you first, Nick. Leo de Sud, you have second in the market there. Done nothing wrong this season, actually, in flying the flag for the Brits in them Grade 1 races. How's he working, and what do you think is his chances of beating Margeborough?
He works grand. The problem, he just goes through the motions. He wouldn't set the world light at home. But what's he done wrong this year? Nothing. He's 4 from 4. He's won a Grade 1. He won a Grade 2 last time. I know people have probably crabbed the form a little bit at Warwick because he only just beat Rebo. What did he do wrong, really? He like Harry said himself, they probably went hard enough down the back at Warwick that day, and he probably just started dossing once he went clear at the running. He's done nothing wrong. He's got Cheltenham form, Cheltenham experience of offences. You've got to be massive respect for the Mullins horse, but I won't be changing ours, to be honest. He's done nothing wrong, and we'll go and give him a good go anyway.
How much improvement? Because Margeborough's only had the 2 start over fences, won the Triumph, but then only a Grade 1, ran in the Grade 1 behind Cargizi at the Dublin Racing Festival. So 4 in total for Mullins. You've had 4 chase starts. Do you think that chasing experience is what's going to count against Margeborough?
Yeah, not just that chasing experience. Forget this lad. This lad was second in a Betfair hurdle at Newbury. He was second in a county last year. He's got that battle-hardened experience before he went chasing. So, he's been in the fight, and he's not fighting up a scrap. So, it'd be quite nice to. I think the intention would nearly be to sort of make sure we get a nice toe, get a nice lead. They'll hopefully go a good gallop, and I think we'll see a lot better load of Sud than we did at Warwick.
Nice. Matty, I'm going to come to you. You do have Django being here. Of course, look, if you could give us an update on Sergino. Sadly, he's going to be missed. How's he doing? Is he recovering well?
Sergino, as far as I know, is doing okay at the minute. The vets seem happy that everything's going okay in the way they want it. It is a massive loss for us. The horse had the world at his feet, and hopefully, touch wood, he still has, if we can get him back. But as long as he comes through this and he can have a nice holiday, we'll be looking forward to him next year. But Django Bay, yeah, he runs here, dropping back to 2 miles. Probably not his ideal trip, but I'm sure Nico, he's an enthusiastic lad. I'm sure Nico will let him bowl along, and he's won round Cheltenham before. And if he gets into a good rhythm, he could be dangerous. You know, he could well put Magsborough under some pressure, and he'll definitely stay. So I can see them having to try and go by him, and hopefully he can keep going and run a big race.
Yeah. Who's the enthusiastic
lead to the last?
Is it? Yeah.
What was that?
Is it? Can you give us a nice lead to the last?
Go on, Nick. Sorry, mate. I was just going to say, Matty, who's the enthusiastic lad? Is it Nicky or is it Django? Is it Nico? Is it Django Bay?
No, definitely Django Bay.
Django. Look, Pete, I'm going to let you loose with Marsba. So, do you think he's battle hardened enough, like one of the lads contenders there in the jumping stakes? People were crabbing his jumping there at the Dublin Racing Festival. I thought it was fine. I thought he did jump better on Chase debut, but he's a very special horse. He's a talented horse. Can he win this?
Right. This jumping thing, I just do not get. Like, I don't get. I understand people want to crab it. Like, I'm going to read a few things. Just give me 2 seconds here, right? So, Magsborough's jumping index debut 9.4 out of 10. That's higher than the likes of like Galloping Deschamps, fast or slow. All of these are veteran chasers, faster than all of those. He gained 15 lengths in the air on his debut. He hit the second last at 34.92 miles per hour. Final Fancy at 35 miles per hour. That's quicker than the likes of Solness and John Bon, and that was on his debut. He then had his second start, the DRF. His speed loss at his fences was less than 4.5 miles per hour out of 10 of the 11 fences, and he gained just under 9 lengths on his rivals. Like, I don't get where, like, he's got the best jump index in the race. He's at 9. The likes of Lou de Sud is, I think Lou de Sud visually on the eye and the way he put the race to bed on the railway fences was so impressive. But he's still sat at 8.1 after 4 starts. Magsborough's on 2. He's always going to have the concern. Like I said this when Galloping Deschamps and Bob Ollinger both went to the Turners with 2 starts each. You're always going to have that concern. That I just think 3 runs minimum is the perfect number. So you are going to have that concern. But at the same time, we know it's going to be a small field, probably 4 or 5 runners. So jumping looks perfect to me. And the other thing that's really strong, like, because obviously everyone likes to nitpick, especially when you're looking at a short price. Lou de Sud, there was a lot of talk about the way he flattened off a little bit of his race towards the end of it. And you look at the numbers again, going on the data, the race IQ stuff. And he was done in the final stages in the Betfair by Absurd. In the County Hurdle by Absurd, just by Absurd running the last 2 furlongs quicker, which was obvious because obviously he passed it. But the counteract of that is the fact that Magsborough against Cargeese, Magsborough was accelerating 0.08 seconds quicker in the second to last furlong, and coming into the final furlong, he was 0.52 seconds faster than Cargeese. So he was gaining. He is all stamina coming into that finish. And I find it so hard. I know he's a short price, but I find it so hard to pick holes in him. The only thing you've got is the fact that he's got the 2 runs. But on numbers and everything, like his RPR, he ran last time out 164 RPR. That's £6 higher than Django Bay. That's £9 higher than what Lou de Sud's run to. He's run less than obviously everyone. Like Matty said, I'd agree. Django Bay, I'm not sure he wants his step back and trip. It might be square pegs, round holes. And the same with Lou de Sud. I think he's been very impressive, but I just don't think I could see Magsborough, Champion Chase, Gold Cup, wherever you like. I just think he could be anything.
Nice. Thank you very much. Look, some good stats there. Ash, you were grinning like a Cheshire cat there when people was talking about them IQs and stuff. I know you're back into that type of stuff. Look, is it a simple case of Magsborough wins?
Yeah, look, I'm gonna take him on, obviously, but it's not gonna be of any sort of confidence. But no, I am gonna go with Django Bay. But I do like what Pete said there about the jumping. I was quite taken back by the race IQ data, just the fact that we got such a high score, and yet he was sort of like, I think the tweet immediately from Racing TV afterwards was like, he wasn't certain all the way around, but he gets the job done. And then you look at the data, and he was very, very good. But look, I've come round to Django Bay. I just think that there's a scenario where Madgeborough and potentially loads to get racy a little bit coming down the hill, and Django Bay is going to be one just sat in the box seat taking them on late on. I keep going back to that Cheltenham debut of Fences. I'd say, as arguably one of the best chasing debuts I've seen this season, behind obviously Sergino. And Madgeborough is very good on his chasing debut, but I actually thought Django Bay was better on his chasing debut. Obviously, he was over a different distance. He's got to come back for 2 miles. Completely get that. You get him priced in that with the price he is now, 8-1. But he has shown speed. Like his Ascot debut hurdle success over Tell Her the Name. They absolutely sprinted clear at the third that day. He won the Formby on soft ground. Probably wasn't his kind of ground. He wants that sort of good soft, slightly better ground, and he probably is going to get that on the first day of the festival. I'd say he's got to get sort of good soft ground, and he's shown good speeds when he needed to in the Aintree handicap over 2.5 when he got nearly taken out the race and sprinted back to finish second to Katira. I think he's got a good chance, Django Bay, but I can see why everyone's sort of getting stuck on to Madgeborough. So look, fair play if you're on at a nice price, or if you want to get stuck in, then fair play. But Django Bay for me.
Yeah, look,
7-1.
The roll-ups there and the Akkas. Harry, look, we don't want to dwell on the race too much, but is it a simple case of Marshall wins, yes or no?
Yeah, I think it is, mate. I'll keep it short and sweet. You don't want to hear my thoughts too much tonight, but Madra will win. Yeah,
let's go. Right, so we're going to move on to the feature race. It is the Grade 1 Champion Hurdle, and we've got the main...
Come on, Matty.
He's going to tell us all about Constitution Hill. Look, he is in the background there. Harry's, everybody loves him. Matty, look, he's been a talking horse because, look, one, he is the best we've seen for a long time, but two, we also haven't seen him as much as we want to see him. Nicky gets pelters because of being so open and honest. Now, have you unplugged that printer, is first of all, and how is Constitutional working? How is he feeling? Does he feel different as well from the last couple of years? 2 years ago, he was kind of unbeatable. Last year, he was a bit in the wilderness because of certain issues. How's he feeling this time?
Yeah, I'm very, very happy with him. He done. Nico sat on him this morning to do his last piece of work, and he was delighted with him. So he'll have a little pop tomorrow or Thursday, and then we'll just be keeping him wrapped up and hopefully, I'm pretty confident he's near his best. You know, he's probably the best horse I will ever have to do with anything in my lifetime. His mental attitude is fantastic. Nothing would scare him. He doesn't get himself worked up. He is bomb-proof. And when I saw the news yesterday about the mare running in the race, to be honest, I thought it was only a good thing. I think they'll set good fractions. This fella can travel. I've never sat on a horse or even watched a horse that can travel as well as this fella. And I've got massive respect for the rest of them, but I'm very pleased with where we are.
Nice, that's what we want to hear. What about, look, we now have the confirmation that brighter days ahead, she's going to take on the mighty Constitution Hill. What do you think? How the race is going to pan out? Maybe any plans from your side? Are you going to just tuck in behind? Look, they're going to have King of Kingsfield. Basically, you've got two pacemakers, no?
I don't really discuss things like that with Nico, but we can sort of imagine that King of Kingsfield will go a gallop and she'll be right behind him, and we'll be keeping tabs on her, you know. And then hopefully it's just a case of letting the pacemaker fall away, and we'll track her and we'll pounce on her and send her back to Ireland with her tail between her legs, you know.
Matty, love that.
That's one. What about quickly the last day there? Look, he didn't beat much, but that must have been a scare, and your heart must have been pounding when Nico gave him one at the last.
Yeah, to be honest, I was down at the bottom with the lads, and I was stood next to Jaden, who looks after him, and I tried to watch it live rather than the big screen, and I missed it, and everyone behind me, and I was like, whoa, what's he just done there? And when I watched it back, when Nico took it up at the top of the hill, he just switched off. You know, he once he hits the front and he's clear. He doesn't do a whole lot. You know, Nico does have to keep him up to his work. But there's if there was plenty in the tank, if there wasn't, he'd have probably fell. You know, but he's a very, very, very clever horse, and he got himself out of that situation. And Nico holds his hands up. He probably should have kept the revs up, but thankfully it all was out well, and he seems fine, and we're very, very happy with where we are now.
And just quickly, do you think because he's already beaten State Man fair and square, but that was a couple of years ago in a champion hurdle, and then Lossiemouth in the Christmas hurdle, that was his comeback run, and the last day it was kind of a no race. It was basically a jog around. Like, how much improvement this season going into this? Is the petrol going to be on full, or you know, how much can we expect to see from them runs?
We sort of knew going to Kempton. That's probably the most nervous I've ever been watching him, because she looked phenomenal, beating Tihupu, and I thought, giving her £7 on our comeback, knowing that we may need the run, it just put me on edge a little bit, you know, ring rustiness and but from the flagpole, seeing him travel and he just travels so well, he jumps so well, and to see from the back of 2 out when Nico said go, he put the race to bed then, and he did take a blow, but luckily he put them all to bed, and it was just a case of keeping him up to his work. But we've got him right now, and Kempton was very good the other day. He seriously quickened up past his work partners, and he was brilliant again today. So fingers crossed, yeah.
Yeah, look, we're all looking forward to seeing him and seeing the clash. Look, for my pocket, I did back Bright Ideas Ahead for the mares, but for racing, look, this is going to be some clash. And if all four of them go, Lossiemouth and State Man, we're in for a great race. So look, I wish you all the best with Constitutional. Harry, does Cornhill win? Is it a simple case of, look, the champ will regain his crown?
Yeah, no, I really do. Actually, I was at Fergal's the other day, and Johnny Burt was in there, and he rode Brentford Hope, who finished second to Constitution Hill. And I was just saying, what do you say to Constitution Hill? Like, what do you say to Nico down at the start? And basically, Johnny said, Nico, I'll take you to 2 hurdles, and then you may as well take it up, because there's no point trying to ruin your other horses against a horse like him, because if you take him on for a mile, well, he's just going to go clear, and you're going to keep struggling. And he just, look, I think like what Matty said there, as such a good horse, he's almost in a bracket of his own where it's quite harsh on him, because he can't have the races what others have, you know, because he scares most of them away, or most of them are so inferior. I think he'll win. I really do hope he wins. And like you said, Matty, I hope he sends the mare and all of her fans back to Ireland with a tail between their legs. I love that. I love that.
Get packing. Pete, look, you've been a fan from day one. I know you have. That Supreme win, just epic it was. And of course, blew State Man away in the champion hurdle. Just look, does he win? And who's the biggest danger? Is it Bright Ideas Ahead?
Well, on paper, but to be honest, because this clash has took so long going back and forward, I've just built a list of how to take on Brighter Days Ahead. And my concerns, I'll give you a few concerns that I totally agree. Obviously, it's so good hearing obviously everything from like Matty's view, because obviously we don't hear it like the guys like Matty and Nick and stuff. We don't hear these sort of things. So it's really good to hear from that side. But regards Brighter Days Ahead, obviously that was an explosive performance that she put up, no doubt about it, around Christmas time. But the problem is, like, I remember when State Man did that, he did it in the Supreme, then he did it in the Champion Hurdle. And I just think it's very difficult to do that more than once in a season. Some horses can do it, but it's very difficult. The other thing she skipped the DRF, which is obviously going to be a positive for a recovery, but then they've got to let her down and then build her back up again. Like, is that easy to do? Again, I don't know that. State Man has been completely written off by just about everyone this year. Yet that's the yardstick everyone's using to say that she's an absolute freak. I understand the times, the sectionals, the visuals, everything about that performance was very, very impressive. I totally get that. The one defeat obviously came at Cheltenham, muddling race. You can write it off, but at the same time, if you said to me, put Constitution Hill, Lossiemouth, or State Man in that race with those mares, and put probably £10 on their back, I'd have all of them to have won that race still, beating Golden Ace. Good horses, they just find ways to win. And I'm not saying she's clearly, obviously, that's maybe not the right way of phrasing it. She clearly is a good horse, but champion her like this top, there's no margin for error at this top level. The two courses couldn't be less alike, like Cheltenham and Leopardstown. We've seen what State Man does to horses, spinning around Leopardstown, tight track. Like it was basically set up like a playground. They've got everything set in her ways. And you're not forgetting as well, on that debut, when State Man was making his debut, his seasonal debut, he nearly did it. It was only because he jumped the last poorly, she battled back. And like they've said, she just maintains a constant gallop. And when she's in that rhythm, if she misses one or slightly like that could go out the window. And I just think that, and finally, just her relatives, like a very small sample, but Mighty Potter, Coldwell Potter, we know that they didn't really travel across to Cheltenham too well. She was fine at Aintree, but they didn't enjoy Cheltenham. French Dynamite was okay as a chaser around there, but again, it's a question mark. I just think there's more question marks than just. And if you go through her form, her last run was brilliant. But if she'd just beaten Winter Fog by 30 lengths, we'd all be saying on the visual sectionals and everything else it was mighty impressive. But I just think because State Man's being used as a yardstick, it's just taking it to another level. But everyone's writing him off. So of course she is going to be labelled the same danger. But I'm not going to go through it again. I totally echo everything the way Matty said it. Like, I don't get this whole thing where people will go and beside themselves about the excitement of King of Kingsfield being a pacemaker. I'd imagine for once Nicky Henderson was rolling over with happiness. He was there rubbing his hands. He's like, so you're going to run me a pacemaker? Like, you cannot get a horse to go. I've never seen a horse could go fast enough for it. He is the strongest traveller, the swiftest jumper. Obviously, I could go through all the data, but there's no point. Like, as in, he is just so good at everything he does. And I just hope that obviously he still carries that same form. There's two types of people. One type of person who wants to take him on because he's not shown us he's that same horse yet. And then the other type of person who wants to be with him because he hasn't shown us he's not that horse yet. And I just think everything about Nicky Henderson and that stable, they build things up slowly. People were like, why don't you give him a squeeze? Why they just don't do it? Why? Ruby Walsh says, you want to get the longevity out of horses. He said, give them as easy a race as possible. Look at the way Paul Townend rides every horse. He said, so if there's going to be an explosion, and I remember the John Bond Supreme, and that was a rapid pace. And whatever happens here, I'd imagine it's going to be a very impressive winner. So if she does turn out to be as good as they think she is, then so be it. But I expect it to be Constitution Hill saying, and me standing in the crowd and Nico saluting me again with my video out.
Good man. Look, yeah, I actually don't get. I've seen people say, why didn't he win by 10, 15 lengths the last day if he could? Well, why would you bother? Like, I don't get why you would press him if it's unnecessary. But Ash, look, I don't need no explanation if you fancy Constitution Hill. But look, maybe give us the 1-2, the forecast, in just one sentence.
Yeah,
you dare take him on here.
No.
Well, I'm going to take him on.
No. Connor Hill wins this. The only thing I'm just hoping for at this stage, I do hope Lossiemouth goes to the race. Just A, to make the champion hurdle deeper, and B, to make the mares hurdle a bit more of a betting contest as well. So yeah, Con Hill wins this.
He said today that she's going, Rash, in his column in Sporting Life.
Well, that's
Willie
Mullins
confirmed. He said it's been a 2-year plan.
Yeah, that's been the sort of the line for a while. So I say they'd be going for the champion hurdle. Fingers crossed, anyway.
Nice. Look, lads, I'm going to come on to a group, a mix of the rest of the races for day one. Nick, I'm going to come to you. You've been waiting patiently there. I do want to talk about Take No Chances. Will she take a chance in the mares hurdle?
Yeah, she runs. Look, I'm gobsmacked if they run Lossiemouth in the champion. I just think this would be hers for the taking, myself personally, Lossiemouth. But look, we're hoping that she does go for the champion, and this opens this mares race right up. She's done nothing wrong this year. She won a listed race at Wetherby. She won a Grade 2 at Ascot, beating the Mullins horse that they thought was untouchable that day. She's a bonny little horse. She's done nothing wrong. we're going to go there and give it a right shout.
Yeah, look, her form's been franked even when she was in defeat there, and she beat Corgis the last day. Has she got a chance against Corgis again? Maybe she's already beaten her once there, and like you say, it's about Lossiemouth. Mullins got a few runners in there. What would be a potential danger, you reckon?
To be fair, if he's set one for that race, then anything of his is a danger. We always got to be wary of whatever he brings over. If you'd have said with our mare at the start of the year, we would be thinking of this sort of race, we'd have been surprised. We were slightly surprised how her improvement's been this year. But every time we've stepped her up a grade, we'd like to say we've gone from listed to a grade 2. She's done absolutely nothing wrong. She's owned by the loveliest people, and I'd love to see her run a nice race for them.
Top man. Well, we wish you all luck with taking no chances. Matty, what about you? Anything else on day one for the Henderson Yard?
I think we'll be limited to probably 3 runners on day one, but we will supplement tomorrow. Joyce for the Mayor's Hurdle. She's going to go there, I think. That is the plan. She was very, very impressive. She surprised me a lot when she won the Betfair Hurdle about a month ago. And she'd have a large chance, I'm pretty sure she'll stay strongly at 2.5 miles. She was only beaten there by a very improving handicapper of Gordon's back in January, December, whenever it was. And she'll give it a go. Yeah,
look, your 2 mares were linked in that race. Look, is it a case of you'll supplement her because break days ahead isn't there and you feel like it's an open race?
Yeah, definitely. I think that was sort of the talking point when we were thinking about it. She could have run in a more battle at the weekend, but Kelso and a handicap probably wouldn't have been her track. So I think we were just keeping our ears open and listening to see what was happening in Mayor's Hurdle, and we're happy for her to take a chance now. I think, she'll have a good chance.
Lovely stuff, lads. Lovely stuff. You're in for a clash there in the Mayor's Hurdle. Right, the other 3 lads, I'm time conscious. We've got plenty to get through, lads. I'm going to give you 2 minutes on the stop clock there. Handicaps, anything else from day one? Ash Simmons, you've got the floor. Let's go.
I'll start in the Mayor's Hurdle. Tossed and turned with this one a bit, but I'm sort of betting without Lossiemouth and Bright Stays Ahead, obviously. I end up landing on Golden Ace. I don't buy into the narrative that she doesn't stay 2.5 miles. I think she needed her first run of the season. She then ran a fine race at Cheltenham, but I just don't think the Jeremy Scott yards were in great form. I'm not trying to say they're sort of in electric form now, but they are sort of starting to run into a bit of better form than they were at one part of this season. And I actually thought she showed off more of a stamina at Wincanton than she did in any other run so far. She came off the bridle quite early over sort of that sharp 2 miles around Wincanton, yet she stayed on nicely past Burdett Road, and probably Burdett Road and Connections thought they were going to be winning that race when he was absolutely lobbing along. But Golden Ace did a lot wrong and still won. She's shown her hand around Cheltenham over 2.5 as well. I think she goes the cruising speed of 2.5. She doesn't go the cruising speed of 2 miles, and she does travel nicely. So I think Golden Ace and the Mayor's Hurdle for me. Just looking at sort of elsewhere, I put up on the Antipost series Broadway Boy in the Ultima. Still quite sweet on him. I think 150 is a nice mark, and hopefully the Twist and Davises have sweetened him up nicely for it. But I do see the angle behind Melina Girl at a price. I saw Paul Keeley put her up on a Racing Post preview, and she's got a mark of 142, I believe. If she goes to this race, which I think she should be because she hasn't entered anywhere else, I'd give her a squeak. Beyond Your Dreams in the Boodles, I think a lot of people are sort of cottoning onto this. JP McManus, Joseph O'Brien. I would have a small worry about Joseph O'Brien's stable form in general for the week, but hopefully she gets around it. She's got a nice mark, I think, of about 123. She's been a big eye catch, and I thought the engine she showed, considering she jumped like an absolute dog at a Fairy House before Christmas. She showed a massive engine that day. 123 is not a bad mark for her. And in the finale, the National Hunt Chase, big price this one, and I'm sort of maybe I've had a bang on the head, but Kintara has got a nice chance, I think, at 33-1. We just haven't seen much of him, but you got to remember last year, like second in the Thames, running some nice races at Newbury, ran a good race at Aintree in the Grade 1 behind Dancing City and the Jukebox Man. They had tried fences with him, and it didn't really go too much to plan with him. But if he comes back over, he started coming back over fences now this season. He ran fine at Windsor behind Heracles Westwood. He blew off the cobwebs at Newbury. He's got a mark of 125 over fences, and this is the only entry for him. He's going to want every single yard of the National Hunt Chase, and I think he's well handicapped, and he's started to show glimmers. He's back to form. So Kintara at 25-1 has got a good chance in the National Hunt Chase.
Some nice shouts there and big prices as well. I didn't expect anything less from you, Ash. Plenty of big prices hanging about there. Pete, couple of minutes, please. What's your handicaps and anything else? Your time starts now.
Very similar to Ash on Beyond Your Dreams. Fortunately, cottoned onto this one quite early. It's just a classic Joseph sort of plot. He's won this twice in the last 6 years. Runs them 3 times. Normally they get 1 win just to get the ticket so that you get enough weight to get in the race. And then obviously the other two are plotting. I'm not so worried about stable form. If you look around, like there's a lot, like Gavin Cromwell's out of form. There's so many trainers that it's just that time of year. Normally Nicky Henderson's are out of form this time of year and everyone's questioning it. I just think they just don't run a lot of their good horses because they're saving them for the big day. Jumping wouldn't be a worry. I think they do this and then they conveniently, like some of the obviously rides, and I'm not talking about Beyond Your Dreams specifically, but some of the others, like Put Your Hands Together, I think it was, like some of the Mark Walsh rides, like they were something special to try and make sure these horses don't pass the line in front. And you look at all of Joseph's in here, they've all got the same profile, 3 runs, low mark. So hopefully that's the right one. I will say as well, there was Stencil. Stencil's getting a lot of the bad press for the horse that finished 4th last year. I can't remember who it was from the same yard.
Valentino, wasn't it?
Yeah. Like I don't think they've got anything alike sort of profile. Like Stencil's got a lot stronger French form, and his form behind East India Dock, he was running a really strong race before obviously finishing. And if you like East India Dock, like I don't think he's badly handicapped in this, just on the general consensus of the Irish have just been absolutely clobbered, like horrendously handicapped. But at the same time, he's going to drift. I'm not even sure he'll go off favourite. But the one I really do like, he's got 2 options, but I'm hoping, well, there's a strong chance he comes here. He's around 20-1, 16-1, non-runner, no bet, is Jericho Roque in the National Hunt Chase. He's been off the track for 2 years. In 2022, he was finished second behind none other than Correct Rambler before he went on to win the Grand National, ahead of Oscar Elite. He was running off a mark of 138 that day, ran to 145 RPR. He then went on, he was well beaten behind Remastered on his return, but I think that was a prep for the Coral Gold Cup back in 2022. He finished 6.5 lengths behind Le Milos off a mark of 139, again running to 145 RPR. So he's been off the track the best part of, well, almost 3 years, but he returned and he was very, like, you could tell he was being ridden to just get round, have a nice clean round, see how you get on. And he ran to a lower, he was £9 lower than what he was running to there. So he ran to 134 RPR, but the handicapper dropped him another £2. So he's going to get in here, providing obviously he gets in. I don't know how this new handicap chase works. He's going to be running off a mark of 131. He's got the back class of Kite Rambler. He's got Cheltenham form. He's running the Ultima, and they're going for obviously this staying trip. He would like a little bit more cut in the ground, but if you're going to get any sort of soft next week, it's likely to be Tuesday when they water to make sure it's at least good to soft. And I just think he's a very sneaky sort of horse. And the fact that he's ran to 145, he might not get to that level, but you'd expect him to come on from his return. And if he ran to 134, say he runs to 140, he could be £9 well in. And I totally respect the front end of the market. Now is the hour, HC Galore and stuff. But like a lot of those are getting clobbered, especially the Irish again coming over. Like Now Is the Hour and stuff, £15 extra for doing very little. I totally respect his chances, but Jericho's just gone completely under the radar for me.
Nice. Harry, what about you? Just a couple of minutes on the handicaps there, and anything else from day one for you?
No, I'll just go the 2 that I've had. I mentioned obviously on the video. If you haven't already, check that out. That's the last episode of the series. I really fancied Famous Bridge to run a big one for Nicky Richards in the Ultima. Obviously won the national trial at Haydock, but the next one was obviously a horse that Nick mentioned. I really fancy Take No Chances, and if this race cuts up, she's got that form here. She was given the best part of another horse away in weight against like the likes of Joyous and Woodoo, and that form is very, very good. She's also come, I assume, Nick, she'll come fast and late and pick up the pieces if it all falls to if it all falls in plan. So fingers crossed, that's the way it goes. And 14-1, this race cuts up, so you won't be that price at the off, and Nick will probably help in taking that price as well, I assume, if you're a betting man.
Yeah, look, I'm going to come around the room, so I don't need no explanations. I just want your best bet of day one and the best of each way. Just the names, please, Ash.
Brilliant. Under pressure, I'm going to go best bet of day one is probably going to be Broadway Boy in the Ultima. My best each way is going to be Workhead and Supreme. I like him. And was it a late, was it?
You can do a late, go for it.
If I'm taking on Kopeck de Boers in the opener, then he'd be my one that I can't see him being the correct price in the opener.
You are psychotic. Absolutely mental.
Absolutely zero chance you're opening that Betfair account and laying Kopeck de Boers. Zero.
Right. Harry,
no chance. No chance.
We just need the best bet, best each way, and give us a lay if we've got one.
They'll tee it up for Constitution Hill, so he'll win. He'll be the best one. The best each way, I've just mentioned, take no chances. And the lay, I will go with whatever goes off Fav in the Boodles, just because you've got 23 others running for you.
Yeah, no, I like that angle. I do. You've got to take some of them on. The two lads will be happy anyways, choosing their horses. Matty, what about you? Constitution Hill, I take it for you, but what's your best each way?
I'll probably Joyce in the Mayor's Hurdle.
Nice. Any lays of the day, brighter days ahead?
I would probably lay Marsborough.
Really? Wow. Pete, what about you? What's your best bet, best each way, and give us a lay?
To be honest, I don't really want to go best bets because it's just one of those days where it just looks. There are plenty of them short. My best each way would be Jericho, but I do expect. If you're asking me for one, I think will win. I do think Marsborough will win.
Nice. And Nick, what about you? Are you sticking with the home team? Or you got anything else?
No. Best bet is also my best each way as well. Is Broadway Boy. I'm all over it as well.
Oh, really? Ash
Love it. Nick,
yeah.
Fantastic from you.
I can just see it. Just looks like it's been absolutely laid for this. Yeah.
Just on Broadway Boy. I watched a thing today, and Willie Twiston Davis. Surprisingly, the very non-bullish Willie Twiston Davis was all over it. As in, he was brimming. It was his naff of the week. Obviously, he was like, "Yeah, we've had him ready for this." He said, "I'm expecting big things going forward." He said, and he was like, he should have won if he didn't make the mistake, he would have won at Newbury. And he was like, and now he basically was just putting it that this will be redemption, hopefully.
Can I just say the one thing that caught me is right. Willie Twiston Davis is a really bullish man. Okay, when it comes to all of his horses, and Nigel is sort of like less so. I watched the Races interview, and Nigel was just like, "Yeah, he just probably just wins the Ultima." And I was like, and he's talking about his 10-1 shot in a handicap. I'm just like, "Oh, brilliant stuff! This is amazing."
Look, Willie Twiston Davis would probably tip up the stable cat to win something. To be honest. Lads, we'll go on to day two. But I just want to quickly mention, so any comments, the funniest comment, the best comment, we're going to give away a £30 free bet. That's on me and the two lads. 30 quid just to kick things off for you. So get your comments in. Ash is going to put some comments up. We've also got a bundle to give away. It's from Hacked Up Racing. Go and check them out. They do some great bundles. There's merchandise and some gifts there. And it's a really good site to check out. So there you go. The new lining wins on the snip. Richard Hogan, final demand nap. Oh, he's going against it. Anything else, Ash, in there? There we go.
Is that the Albert Bartlett?
He goes for, and that's
Langerdan's the nap, apparently.
Langerdan nap. Look, we'll come back to some of them. Ash, save some of them. We're going to go straight to Nick because it is the Grade 1 turners to kick things off on day two, and they do have the new lion, very well backed and very well bought, purchased there, Nick. How much did they pay? Come on, tell us the story.
Everyone wants 10 million. Why not? Let's just put that number. Who knows?
And how much was your commission?
Not enough. Look, this horse. I mean, we're talking earlier on about sort of horses taking things in the prelims. Sort of Kopeck got, is fairly revved up in Ireland at the DRF. One thing I can tell you with this lad is he will not turn a hair. He'll take all this in his stride. You could lead him down the high street and sell pony rides off his back. He's that quiet. what he's so unassuming. Like you wouldn't know where the ceiling is of this lad. It's it's been a while. We've sort of, we're fairly well associated with sort of handicaps and things at the festival, but we've got a proper live one here, and it's for a grade 1 novice, and we're absolutely buzzing.
Yeah, look, so let's just talk quickly on that Cheltenham Hurdle win. Look, you've kind of built them up, and then you went to the grade 1 there. People do crab that form of the Cheltenham because of past, but could he just be completely different from them past winners? Yeah,
historically, like you say, it's a race where people say it just doesn't throw up that sort of next sort of winner. Like what he was so impressive, wasn't he? I was there with him that day, and honestly, he was just electric. Harry switched in, he switched out, and he just quickened by. Like, to be fair, it was almost like he just jumped off. He won with his head in his chest. He's like I say, he's just the most likable little horse, and he's a gutsy little sod as well. So when he isn't just quiet, he can come alive when he needs to.
Yeah, lovely job. Harry, I'm going to come to you. I know you're a big fan of the new lion there. I think you put him up on our show, did you?
Yeah, I have. Him and Protectorate. So it's almost like I'm a Dan Scout and Loverboy. I've got pictures of Dan on my wall. So it's So that's the way it's going.
Island, do you think he can beat Final Demand? Look, impressive enough, but that was in the Nathaniel Lacey, which a race that actually doesn't produce the winner of this race too often either. That was over 2.6 at the Dublin Racing Festival. And then you've got the Yellow Clay. Look, he's in your Copac board, likely to go to the Supreme. Look, sell it to us. Give Nick a big head and say how much you love the new line.
No, I just think from what people saying they crab the Cheltenham form. You can't just go into the Cheltenham and go, right, well, you're not going to win in Cheltenham because you go into this race. It's a load of shit. It's an absolute load of drivel that whatever anyone says every year, it's just yeah. But like going into this race and but like Final Demand beat Wingmen who wants 3 miles. He got tonked by is it Country? He got tonked by one of yours, Nick, at
Country Mile.
And like if Country Mile rocked up in this, what price would Country Mile be in this race?
Million.
Yeah, exactly.
And like I just think the new line, the way he went through that race at Newbury, he looks like you could drop him back down into 2 miles, and that's what Dan was saying. Like, if the ground came up soft, they could go to 2 miles. He's full of speed. He's got a turn of foot. The way he jumped was so impressive, and you can't really look at the form. You've just got to use your eyes. Regent Stroll, we know, has had a little bit of problems. He was the talking horse. The new line, they kept very quiet. And there's a surge of late money that came in. He was about 3-1. He went off 9-4, and from the top of the straight at Newbury, there was only one winner in that. And that is some saying from the whole way at Newbury, because it's a long straight. Bill Joyce and Wendigo. Wendigo came out obviously last time out and won. No mug whatsoever. But I just think that this is a different horse than the likes of the recent Cheltenham winners that we've seen. So I'd say that if you're crabbing the Cheltenham form, saying, well, that's not good enough. Well, I wouldn't say that the Nathaniel Lacey is the best form for this race itself. And I think the new line will win. And I think he'll win pretty well as well. Okay,
Ash, what kicks things off on the Wednesday there, day 2 in the Turners? What do you reckon they'll win?
Yeah, I like the new line. I don't like the angle behind Final Demand being potentially switched between the Turners and the Albert Bartlett. That would sort of maybe give a nudge of negativity in my eyes, and the fact that if they're going to be potentially thinking of the Albert Bartlett, do they have the class or the speed for the Turners? I think that he won Nathaniel Lacey very, very nicely, but I don't think he won in the same sort of ability as what the new line showed in the shallow. And just a note towards like shallow winners towards Cheltenham Festival, it's a stat that always makes me laugh, because it's different horses running in these different races and then go on to run in different races on different grounds, run at different speeds year on year. It's like when people are like, oh, favourites have a rubbish record in the Champion Chase. Like, oh, grand. Is that going to stop me from fancying John Bond? Not really. So like, it's these stats that like I don't really sort of read too much into them. And if that's the one angle against the new line, then I think you're pretty safe if you fancy him. I think there's plenty to like. I think the horse he beat 2 starts ago, Caliphate Envol, is a really smart horse, Nicky Henson. And yeah, the new line looked really, really good that day. I've really fancied for the Turners, and I think he'll be going off fab. And I can see all the money coming for him, to be honest. I can see him getting shorter than what he is now.
Fair dues. Look, just for time, lads, I'm going to move on to the Brown Advisory. Pete, I'll come to you first there. Were you with the new lion, just quickly?
Yeah, I am on the current conditions now. I just think
confident.
No, it's like basically I'm trying to keep it as short as possible. So the new line, you look at all the data. The new line could actually be running in the Supreme. He actually tops on the racing IQ. He's got the fastest 8.6 out of 10 for his jump index, max entry speed, average speed recovery time, top speed, everything for him. He wins on all the Supreme charts. So in the Turners, it's a little bit more mixed, but on the Supreme, he tops every, which just tells me how much raw speed he's got. He is absolutely nothing like your standard. Like, you look through the Challow winners, and most of them are Paul Nichols. Most of them are having their peak. They all come back as good horses the season after, but they're bottomed out. And again, I go back to the Nathaniel Lacey side of the argument. There's 0 out of the last 15 winners have won there. 2 have placed. You had Pont Alexandra, who came 3rd. And you had Gallia de Mesnil, who came 2nd in the same race with obviously Braveman's game. So there's nothing better in either or. Like, you're literally just clutching at straws for both. The actual one is the Yellow Clay. The Yellow Clay, 2 of the 5 recent winners came from the Lauders of Naas. So, I mean, like the likes of Bob Ollinger. So, but I believe it's between the front 2. But under the current conditions, I just think it's going to be playing to speed. And then this race is obviously normally a Dordal sprint, and I think that'll be for the new line.
Lovely job. We'll go into the Brown Advisory there. So what's your fancy look? Ballyburn's at the top of the market. They do have Dancing City there in from Willie Mullins as well. 2 slightly different campaigns. Ballyburn started off against Sir Gino, but that wasn't his bag. Stepped up the last day. I thought it was a good performance. And then Dancing City beat Bioluminescence the last day, but that was more of a slog of a type of race, Pete, would you say? Who do you like in the Brown Advisory?
Yeah, so this looks obviously a Willie Mullins versus Gordon Elliott. So first thing I wanted to look for is through Gordon Elliott's form in the race. He's had 8 runners in the last 10 years. 7 of the 8 went off 8-1 or shorter. 2 favourites, Delta Work and obviously Jerry Colomb, both beaten, 1 second, 1 third. So he's yet to get this head obviously past. Mullins has had 3 of the last 10 winners. And I do think he holds the aces. Better Days Ahead, I do respect, just because some of these are fairly questionable jumpers and he's a fairly solid jumper. He seems to have become a bit of a wise guy horse, which is strange because I was not overly impressed with his last run. But I do think it's between the front 2. I mean, Dancing City, like, I could sit here and talk to you all day about the different variations. He won. His finishing speed was the fastest when he beat the Jukebox Man at Aintree. They obviously went so hard from the front that they ended up, both of them finished with a finishing speed below 100%. But his stamina still, obviously, he went past the Jukebox Man in the final stages. I mean, he was on the bridle for a lot of that race. And then, obviously, he went to Punchestown. They went an absolute crawl. And then his finishing speed was the highest again, with over 110% by him quickening up. So people have been saying, oh, he needs slow ground. One of his best performances on fast ground. And he's a slow horse. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. So I love how versatile he is. Again, I question, 1, I don't like Mullins stepping their horse first time 3 miles. And 2, 2 starts doesn't do it for me. But I can see why he does it, because obviously he did 3 festivals last year and he'll be looking to go Cheltenham, Aintree, Punchestown if possible. But Ballyburn's grown on me all year. Like, I just think people are going to knock all the different things. And I've been through all the racing index today, and his jumping is not great. But none of their jumping is great. Like, as in for an average renewal, all of their jumping needs to improve. The best jumper is Croke Park. And the best jumper jumped all over him last time, but he just stood there. Paul Townend was like, jump all you like, mate. I've got about 10 pounds in hand on you. Coming to the last, he just said, oh, I'm going to try and pop it. Croke Park got thrown at it, and obviously he just went past him, 5 lengths going away at the line. I just think he's going to be steady through this race. They're not going to go. I'm not sure who's going to make the pace. And I just think he's going to grow into the race. His jumper will improve. And he was £10. Well, he's £9, I think, better than all of these as a hurdler. And I just think his class will probably end up out in, especially on the ground. And I have very little reason to doubt him.
Very nice. Lads, I'll just quickly come to you. I'm going to give just 1 year's, this one, Harry.
Don't pick me. Yeah, I don't have one for this. Don't pick me.
Yeah, no, I've kind of, obviously I was a big fan of Dancing City, but the forecast that's happened, everything I've just said about the new line, well, that would be the complete opposite for Dancing City, even though he has one on good. I just think he'd be better with a right old slog. And with Ballyburn, obviously, he looks like he's coming back to his best. It'd just be a slight worry for me. But it's one of those that we'll just see what happens on the day, and then we'll go from there.
Lovely job. Right, Matty Gill, we are going to ask you about a Nova Star of yours, and it is the Grade 1 Queen Mother Champion Chase, and it's the feature race on day 2 there, the Wednesday. Matty, look, John Bon, people keep crabbing these Cheltenham records. They're trying to find a reason to take him on, but all of these Grade 1 wins, he's pretty unblemished, let's say. How's he being? How's he working? And does he win? That's all we need to know.
Yeah, he's in great form. The lad Paddy who rides him every day, he's Constitution Hill's neighbour, John Bon, so we have a chat every day, and Paddy's delighted with him. Nico will probably have a sit on him tomorrow and wing him over a few fences, and he'll probably do his last bit of work Thursday. But he looks a picture. And people can crab him all they like. But there's a big block letter next to his name. It says CD, He has one round there. And he deserves a champion chase, this horse. He's a beauty to look at, the way he attacks his fences. And I think that a pace in a race that will suit him down to the ground. The forecast looks like it's going to be nice ground, safe ground for him. And I can't see past John Bon in this. I think he's the one they've all got to go by. And hopefully he'll get his head in front and get that deserved win in champion chase.
Yeah, let's hope so. Ash, I'm going to come to you because I know you're a big fan. You and Harry have waxed lyrical about John Bon. Look, I was at the start of the season, I was trying to think if I could get someone to take him on. I did say Gaelic Warrior, maybe he's the fly in the ointment, but he hasn't showed up. Look, this is John Bon's to lose, is it?
Yeah, I'm tempted to bring this scarf to me at Cheltenham on Wednesday just because I fancy the new line and I really fancy John Bon. He is the price he is. He's probably not a bad price, dare I say. Of all these favourites that we've been talking about, Kopek at 5 to 6, Madgeborough at 8 to 13, I wouldn't say he's a bad price at all, really. He is just a good horse, a very, very good horse, very classy, does his job, likes Cheltenham, I think. I think he's fine around Cheltenham. He's the best here. He should be winning this. Gaelic Warrior, Lee, I do feel for you. You've been on for him for a while, and he's probably not going to be winning this. I thought he'd be a nice horse this season. They've messed about with him too much, I think. If they plotted him towards the Ryanair from the start, they might have had half a chance of winning at the Cheltenham Festival. So yeah, John Bon's a nice horse, and he really should be winning this. He just I don't like to say a horse deserves something. They have to show that they do deserve it. But John Bon, Matty's completely right. John Bon deserves champion chase. He really is a class apart here.
Yeah, Harry, look, you love John Bon as well. I just want a quick mention. So what about Marine National? There'll not be a dry eye in the house if he wins it. He's actually ahead in the market of Solness, who he finished second to. Solness got away from them and Marine National ran him down. Look, he is a supreme winner. Has he got a shout?
No.
Keep it simple.
Stop wasting your breath. It's just relax. John Bon wins and just
fair. Look, you don't have to explain yourself, Pete. Again, look, we'll not dwell on John Bon because we know how special he is. He is a worthy market leader. Who would be the danger for you?
I think with Marine National, it was disappointing when he didn't go past Solness last time out. But I do think if the stars could align, this couldn't be much more set up for him in the fact that he's getting that good ground that Barry's been going on about for months. And I think he'll have absolutely zero excuses here. Will he be good enough? I don't know. He's probably got to improve another £5 to £10 minimum to get the John Bon's level. But the drying ground and returning to Cheltenham, like you said, my word, the roof will come off if he's even in contention. It'd be brilliant to see. Myself, I find it hard to see that the dark horse in the race has got to be Solness. Like, I've been again through the numbers today, and he's a faster. Like, the reason he got his easy lead wasn't because he's stealing lengths. He was just getting gunned at those fences. He jumps faster than John Bond. He's quick over his fences. So if he gets another easy lead, but I would strongly like the cut. There's not many horses that can make all at Cheltenham, and the biggest thing for me, like, to keep it simple as possible, with one is John Bond's going to get decent ground, which I think he enjoys, and everyone's going on about John Bond's form at Cheltenham. How many times has Nico lost on John Bond at Cheltenham? 0. How many times has Nico lost on John Bond? 0. Nico's 8 for 8 on the horse, 7 for 7 over fences. It's Nico de Boinville that's what makes his horse. The way he presents the horse at fences, he is brilliant.
Are you saying Aidan Coleman's crap? Is that what you're saying?
I don't want to say it personally, but yeah.
And we've got Aidan on the line. Aidan, how are you, mate? Would you like to speak to?
Go and say it. I'm only joking.
No, because it's not just Aidan. It's not just Aidan either. Like, obviously, he's had a few jockeys in the past. I just think Nico de Boinville, the way he presents a horse at a fence, is on another level. And I just think he's made. You look at the way he makes John Bond's decisions for him, and between them, they're just in sync. And people talk about him making mistakes, but I can't remember the last time I saw John Bond make a mistake that set him back. Like, I think the last time would have been Sandown the year before. Like, I just think he's very uncomplicated, and he's not going to give them a free rein here.
I agree. I think, like, I don't know where they're finding the mistakes from. I haven't seen it, to be honest. But look, beaten in a Supreme by Constitution Hill, that's not no mean feat, I would have said. And then look, he bounced on one in that Clarence House, and he's won a Slayer Trace. Like, look, I tried to find at the start of the season. Look, I thought Gaelic Warrior might be to come forward, but I had it between the two. Elliot Frontier likely to go to the Ryanair now, so that would let Solness have a little bit of a freebie. I don't know if Matata will go here, but yeah, look, set up for a nice race for John Bond. Nick, we're going to come to you because we've got anything else from day 2 as well. I know you've got a few runners in the bumper there as well, but be aware, I did see Mr. Skelton, Dan, he put up, be aware, is kind of the one to be with for the week in the handicaps, being absolutely smashed off the boards. I don't know if that's because our very own Ash Simmons put him up a while ago on our show, but what do you think about Be Aware, and what's your chances in the bumper and stuff like that?
Yeah, he's a bit of a freak, this horse. Honestly, he's got unlimited potential. He hasn't ran since, I think it was Ascot at Christmas, I think it was. He hasn't ran since then. He's rated 137. Why try and run and risk running him and getting his mark changed? Yeah. Me personally, I'd love to see Langerdam running this and keep the weights down.
I'm sorry, but look, right. This is where he gets those ideas at home.
Langer Champs will win the Coral Cup and then the Stayers Hurdle.
Will win the Coral Cup and the Stayers Hurdle. Can I please have £30 free bet, lads? Chris, look, it might be Ash is going to choose a winner soon. But look, continue on.
He's unexposed over this trip. And that's what we think. No, don't worry about Langer, Christ. Be aware, he's unexposed over this trip. He was second in a Greatwood. He's got a real amount of potential. Yeah. I know we talk about, everyone laughs when you talk about race called Gallops. He went with the New Lion. Who else was on the lot? I think it was him, Grey Dawning, and the New Lion went to Huntingdon a few weeks ago. Kieran Gethins rode Be Aware and was just said, look, just tip away in front, just let him sort of swing away. He bolted for 3 furlongs, and that's not an exaggeration. He's then settled down the back straight at Huntingdon, and as he's turned into the straight, Kieran thought he had just sort of, steady away up the straight. He's given him a squeeze and he's gone again. And he couldn't believe that a horse could do that after pulling so hard in a gallop on his own. He didn't have no horses around him. This horse has got a savage amount of ability. And yes, I think he's this, apart from one other that I'll say later on, I think this is our best chance of the week.
Is this his trip?
I think Ash has just wet himself by looking at him in the corner there. He's just, the sigh of relief he's just let off there.
We think he'll improve for the trip, to be honest.
Yeah. He was staying on strongly that Greenwood as well, wasn't
he? He will just need to settle now, but with all those runners, I can imagine you won't even see him until coming down the hill. Harry will have him well covered up.
Yeah, I bet he will.
Nick,
What about the bumper runners?
Nick, sorry, Lee. Nick, just like when you say about those sort of pieces of work, does it take a lot out of him? Like, as in, like when a horse does that, does like, as in, if he was to run in the next week or so, would it cause an issue or?
Very much dependent on the horse. From what I've been seeing since then, Huntingdon was a good few weeks ago, so that wouldn't concern me in that respect. But the way he's been going as well at home in the last couple of weeks as well, you definitely wouldn't have said anything would have been, he wouldn't have bottomed him out that day anyway. So yeah, I'd be all over him.
Get the lot on.
I know. I'm definitely loading up. Yeah. What's the best of the bumper ones? Because you've got a few runners in the bumper, haven't you?
Yeah, Dalston lad, he's won a point and he's won his 2 bumpers. I don't know what the riding arrangements would be for this, but Keelan Woods won on him last time, so I wouldn't be surprised if he rode him. Fortune de Mare, I know everyone would think we're mad fancying this horse, considering he got stuffed at Huntingdon in a bumper a few weeks ago. He went there for a reason. He is gassy as hell, and he would have gone there, obviously doing his best because it's only so not a handicap, it's a bumper. But he needed that just to take the piss out of his sail. He's just a very gassy horse. But one horse in this race, and he's one to wait until the day. Kiop de Borg. This is a proper animal, and I'm not saying it for this year, but he will be a graded winner over hurdles and fences in the next 2 years. This is a proper bit of kit.
Is he the one who finished on the Cheltenham horse, the Nichols horse? Sorry.
Yes. No drama. No drama. Of course, I can't remember the name of it now. Paul's at Warwick. Yeah. This will be doing all his best work at the end, and he might be one on the day if they offer 5 places, 6 places. Then I could see this horse finishing like a wet sail, and I don't know if he's a bumper type, so I don't know whether he'll be able to sort of be competitive early in the race, but he'll be doing all his best work at the end. But mark my words, this is one for the future.
Is he definitely running that Keops de Boards?
Yes, that's the plan. All 3 will run. Yeah, and actually, weirdly enough, Keop de Borg actually beat Fortune de Mare in a point-to-point in Ireland.
Yeah, that's how I'd latched onto it originally. I told someone to cash out because Keops de Boards wouldn't go.
Yeah, no, he's running. That was the intention, and I looked at decks just before we come on air, and the 3 of them have been confirmed the last I looked. So
you've ticked off the point to point on the bingo card there, Nick, and you mentioned point.
And then we've got unexpected in the Grand Annual as well. Like we thought he was well handicapped last year, but like he's up 6 on that. He's obviously he ran well at Windsor the other day. He's coming into some good form, but it'd be fairly tough to go and win that off £6 higher, I think.
Yeah, last year's winner. Yeah, Nick, I'll just quickly mention on a point to point. One I really do like is Calypso Chance, and was a point to point winner at Corbridge. From this country, got sold to Ireland, and now with Gordon Elliott. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at him. I'm really quite sweet on him, but it's not often that you would get a point to pointer from here going across there.
No, but Gina and Tom Ellis have done it a few times. Gordon isn't shy on buying one off of them either. I think the horse you're on about was come from Jack Teal, and these are good. Britain are not catching up isn't the right word, but people are starting to caught on now that British point to pointers can be bought, and there's actually a bit of value in them because the Irish are very inflated in their prices. I was actually in Ireland on Sunday in a point to point looking at horses with my brother-in-law who buys for Dan. And there's some absolutely amazing horses there that are trained by very, very talented people. But there's a lot of English pointers who can be a bit of value at the sales. And it wouldn't be the first one to go over to Ireland and win graded races anyway.
Well, make sure you text me the nice ones, when they're coming through. Don't be shy. Matty, what about you? Anything else from day 2?
I think we'll probably run 2 or 3 in the Coral Cup. What they are yet, I'm not too sure. Probably likely to be Imposed Tour, Captain Morgs, and maybe No Ordinary Joe. But these are all double entered in the Martin Pipe. And our other hopeful, if you can call him hopeful, will be Mr. Coffee to run a big race in the cross country.
What about him? Just quickly touch on him. He's in the cross country. He ran a solid race there the last day, and we were just laughing. He is a maiden over fences, but he actually won a gallop the other day, didn't he?
He did. He is the most beautiful looking horse you'll ever see. And he wears his heart on his sleeve at home. But I think if you watch back the Grand National, I think it was 2 years ago, he pulled Nico's arms out and he loved every minute of it. And I think he just didn't get home. And last year, that bottomed him out. And we were half considering retiring him at the end of last year. And the lad who rides him, Lewis, is a good lad. He's a funny lad. He loves him to bits. And he claims that it was his idea to have a crack at the cross country. Nicky claims it's his idea, but we'll see. And he's loved it. He's loved every single minute of it. And if he could break his maiden in this, I think we wouldn't see Lewis for a long, long time anyway. But he deserves one, and hopefully it'll go well.
Yeah, look, he does definitely deserve one. Look, Nico as well. I feel like he got some buzz going around there as well. But lads, we'll come round. I'll kind of link in. So if you've got your best bet as well, but Ash, I'm going to kick off with you. Anything else? They've got the bumper, the cross country, any of the handicaps there, and give us your best bet and best E3 as well.
Yeah, be aware for the Coral Cup. I don't need to sort of go into why I fancy him, but
by the way, I used lads getting paid off these two at the bottom because you keep crossing over and saying that everything's going to win from the Henderson or the Dan Skelton yard. Come on,
they're not paying me enough, that's for sure. Be aware in the Coral Cup. I think he's got a good chance. Just for everything that Nick said there, and his run in the Great Woods really eye catching. I fancy him. I think the thing that gets him beaten.
Did put him up weeks ago on our show, so you're not after timing. You put him up at a much bigger price, so well done to you.
Thank you very much. I think Nick's covered it there, but the thing that gets him beat is himself. If he gets a bit of bad luck, so I assume that he's sort of going to hold him up a little bit behind horse to try to settle him. He might get a bad run through. That might just happen. That's racing, but he's not like a certainty or anything like that. But it's just going to be, going to need to ride a little bit of luck there. But if he gets right, I think he's got a great chance. I forgot to mention for the Turners, Potter's Charm's a big price. I know I put him up at a shorter price on the anti-post video, but I think he's my each way danger in the Turners. Cross country ground watch for the course. Obviously, they can't water, so it's going to be basically natural ground. If it's soft, and it would need to be minimum soft, hopefully heavier. If it's soft, I think Wamage will go well. He was absolutely lobbing along on trials day in 2023 before falling. They're going to use this as a prep for the Irish National, so that is in the back of my mind. But they've had this, speaking to James Griffin, they've had this in mind for a long time with Wamage. If they come here, I think he's the forgotten horse in the cross-country ranks. He's a very, very good cross-country operator, and I can see Wamage running a big race there. Grand Annual, just 2 for me. JPR1 I believe is coming in here. If it's good, soft, or better, I think he got a good chance of 156. I know it's a lot of weight to carry, but you've got to remember he won that race at the start of the season, the Holden Gold Cup, off of, I believe, is a market in the high 140s, 149, beating Jello. Jello's won the Peterborough since, and he's won a Denman Chase. I think he's just basically a really, really good horse on good ground, and I think he'd be able to defy the weight in what looks like a winnable race at Grand Annual. But if he doesn't go, or if the ground goes against him, my mate Mozzie is off a mark of 151. I'd give him a good chance. They've been planning towards this race all season. He blew off the cobwebs last time out the DRF, had a big sort of break off in between his last run in September to the DRF. This, by all intents and purposes, has been a big plan by Gavin Cromwell, and I could see my mate Mozzie bring a big race in the Grand Annual. And I'm with you, Lee, in the champion bumper. Calypso Chance, I think, is the best of the lot in there. As much as I would think the Dan Skelton runners, Keops the Boards, and Fortune Demare are big prices, I think Calypso Chance is a bit special, and he'd be mine in the champion bumper.
What's your best bet and best?
Best bet on the day? I think it would be the New Line and the Turners, though I do think the Potter's Charm's a nice price, and the best each way. My mate Mozzie in the Grand Annual. I do fancy him to run a big race. Nice
job, Ash. Harry, what about you? Anything else from day 2, and what's your best bet and best each way, please?
I'll go with John Bon. I think he'll win. But obviously, I'd say the New Line. I've been waxing lyrical about this horse, and I've put my colours to the mast. I'm happy to take shit when I get it.
Double for the lads.
You can have, I'd say those two. I'd say the New Line and John Bon on the Wednesday. I think JP looks to have a storming week. The one in the bumper that I would mention as my best each way, Kalen. Now he beat a horse of Dan's.
I
Horse
just
called Deep
remembered that
Purple.
horse. He's a really nice horse. I just remembered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's definitely going as well. Spoke to Fergal on Tuesday. No, it's Tuesday today. Yesterday when I went up and saw him work, he's a proper horse apparently. And when I saw him work, I was like, yeah, all right, you'll do. 33-1. Nick, just tell me that Deep Purple that he beat is actually half decent.
Yeah, so yeah, that's okay. That is, yeah. You're okay.
Good stuff.
Right, good.
Happy days.
Nice double there as well from Harry for JP. I'm sure JP will be watching the show, so nice to see you, JP. Matty, what about you? What's your best bet and best each way for the day?
I think Ballyburn's an absolute certainty, so you can double them up with John Bon. John Bon, I'd have John Bon ahead of Ballyburn, but the double's an absolute certainty for me. And each way, I would go possibly, if he runs in the Coral Cup, Impose Trois.
Nice. Pete, anything else from day 2 and your best bet and best each way, please?
It's hard to follow all of that, especially people giving out certainty. No, all I'll say, just with regards to cross country, I know obviously it's switched to a handicap, but I'd still be very wary about worrying too much about how much a horse is carrying. Like, it's all about the course form and stuff like that. Like, I think the likes of Stumptown and Galvin and stuff that have been there, done it, they've got the numbers. I know they'll be carrying it. They just seem to go at such a plod that often weight just doesn't really seem to come into it too much. So I just wouldn't worry too much about that. Because I think the reason I say it is because I think Stumptown's going to drift because he's been given a big weight. He's obviously top weight and he's been given £7. But if you think he was coming over from Ireland, most of them got £4 anyway. So he's only been given £3 for literally winning on the bridle last time. So it's just a point of thought. I'm not really too strong on anything, and I've got literally the same as Ash. I've got the strongest one would probably be the New Lion. I do respect Final Demand, and I've backed him as well. But I think the New Lion under these conditions will be very tough to beat. And the Grand Annual, I texted Harry when my mate Mozzie ran at the DRF. I was slightly disappointed that he did get given an extra couple of pounds, which I thought was slightly harsh. But I do think Gavin Cromwell's been working back from this for some time. I mean, he's still unexposed over fences. We know he's going to travel like the absolute wrath of God. Coming to that 2 furlong pole, he's going to get his good ground. It's just going to be what he finds. So, I mean, as far as you go, whether it's a small win bet at a big price, 16s or whatever, or if you go each way, I think he's going to be there or thereabouts. And you'll at least get excited coming to the bend because he'll be one of the few still on the bridle. Whether he's there and he's still on the bridle, come to the finish in about 5th. But yeah, my mate Mozzie would be for me.
Lovely. Nick, just quickly, so your best bet and best each way, are you going with the New Lion for the best bet?
Yeah, obviously New Lion and Be Aware would sort of be your best bets. But like I say, if you can get sort of plenty of places on Key Up the Borg in the bumper on the day, maybe I think he'll fly home. And I'm not saying he'll be in the 3 because he's not obviously he isn't a bumper horse. He's one for the future, but he'll be finishing his race well.
Lovely. One to note there, all the lads are in agreement with some of these. I'm on none of them, I don't think. I'm not going to lie. But we will move on to day 3, lads. Just quickly again, get them comments in. You've got a £30 free bet to be won. Hit the subscribe button. Look, we really do appreciate the support. That does help us a lot. Any comments, but yeah, the like and the subscribe button, it all free there as well. Hit that, and you do get a hacked up racing bundle if you do retweet the post that is pinned to our Twitter handle as well. Only Fools of Horses racing there across on Twitter. So right, we are kicking it off with the Mares Hurdle there. 6.5 leads the market now. Maureen 72 second best in, Carolina Bamboo and Golden Dame in around 9s, and then you've got some of the Nichols runners in best next. Ash, I'm going to come to you for the Mares Novice. It looks a trappy little race. I know you've been impressed with a couple of across the way there, but look, Maureen's been leapfrogged by 6.5. Who do you fancy in here?
Yeah, this is really like I'd say it's probably an unnatural Ash Simmons fancy if this could ever be copyrighted at all, which would be a worry for the world if there was a copyright like that. I think Maureen is my fancy. She's not got the experience, she's not got the form, and yet I've just been like using the eye test. I've been really quite impressed by what she's done so far. She looked really, really good in her bumper, and like I know there's a lot made about the fact that she is related to Forheen, and that's like the whole massive thing on Maureen the Machine. And usually when Twitter cottons onto a horse, I instantly want to take it on. But I do see sort of glimmers of the engine being there, and that Punchestown run on heavy ground, like first run for a while, first run for nearly a year. And she showed a lot, I thought, in a hurdles debut. Yes, the form isn't there, but it was heavy ground. It was Punchestown, first run for over a year. I really think it was a good run, and I think Willie Mullins in the camp fancy her more than maybe they're cottoning on to and giving credit for. They seem to sort of listen to the previews like the Ruby Walsh song and stuff, and they say, yeah, she's got a nice chance, but she's got that inexperience. I think they're just going with the inexperienced line just to give themselves a bit of a cover, really, to be honest. I think they quietly think she's got a really, really good chance. I know that 6.5's got a belting chance. I can understand why people are putting her up. Yeah, beating Colomita by 12 lengths is a good piece of form, but for me, Maureen, is the one that I could see being quite a nice animal going forward, and she'd be my vote in this.
Very nice. Pete, what about you? The Grade 2 mares, it kicks things off now on the Thursday. It is the first race. They're swapped it about a bit. It is the first race on the Thursday now. 6.5, very well backed and supported in. Maureen, as Ash mentioned, 72 next best. Do you like one away from them, or are you sticking with the market leaders?
No, I'm very, very similar to Ash. Like I looked at the Nichols runners, and obviously they set a really solid sort of profile, but I don't associate him with training many good mares. And also I look, he's obviously Jubilee Alpha sets a solid standard, but she's ran 3 times, and her RPRs, her form and stuff doesn't look any better than like what Ash has just said. 6.5 ran to a better RPR, beating, in my opinion, probably better horses easier than obviously what she did. But again, I'm with Maureen as my main selection. I have backed a few others at bigger prices, but Maureen is the main selection. And I do worry slightly about, I've got no idea how she's going to handle the better ground and this obviously shorter trip. But her bumper win last year, I know she's obviously 14 the whole way, but that was so impressive visually. I know you can pick holes in obviously what she did since, and Familiar Dreams has won, but jumped very poorly on that race. But the big thing with Willie Mullins is you look at Caroline Bamboo, and everyone now is slowly catching on to her. And she improved 14 pounds from her first 2 starts. I'd expect very similar from Maureen. And if she improves 14 pounds on what she's shown, maybe she's got 20 pounds. You just don't know. They're coming here very unexposed. It's a very tricky race to like weigh up. But Maureen would be my tentative vote. I just hope she's going to be something good.
Yeah, look, we'll roll on. I want to get stuck into the feature races on the day, and one of them is the Ryanair. Nick, you have last season's winner in the Yard Protector. Most impressive last time out. That was some ride in some win at Windsor there. How's he going back in? Look, age is creeping in, but he's last season's winner. What are you thinking this season?
Yeah, you wouldn't know age is getting with him at any point. Honestly, he is just the most enthusiastic horse in training. If anything, that's the thing with him. You've got to just manage him a little bit, because otherwise, if you let him get on that gallop every day, he would do too much. He's just one of life's enthusiasts, the most likable horse, honestly. It was really nice to see him go and do that last time, especially, it was lovely to see the Haleses there. Obviously, we lost poor John a week or so later, and that was great to see him do that, because obviously things didn't go great at Huntingdon, and he got crabbed a lot for that. I don't think you'll ever see us going that way again. He's obviously a better horse going this way around. He's last year's winner. He's coming into the race in good nick. He's got a live chance again, surely, hasn't he?
Yeah, look, I'm going to come to Harry, because he actually put Protectorate up on our show.
It's another skeleton horse. I told you I've got Dan on my wall.
Tell me why you love him, Harry. Tell me why you love him.
No, I just thought, I'm a bit hypocritical here, because I said Windsor is going to be a track where the form means absolutely nothing. But I thought the way that this Protectorate went about the race last time, from the front, he just looked a completely different animal to what we saw at Huntingdon. And I was looking down the field, and albeit Factor Fire at this point was going for the Gold Cup, he looks like he's going to come back. Ile Francais was probably going to go to the Champion Chase, and then Gaelic Warrior was also going to go there. I just thought Protector at 9-1, I thought it was a big old price, and even though it's 6-1, I still think he's a big price, because you look down the field, I'd say Jello will never beat him again going left-handed, ever in his life, ever. Like, he got lucky going right-handed, it was one of those races that you kind of knew from the off, Harry wasn't going to knock him around when his chance was up, and thank God he did, because he's going to have bigger targets ahead, especially coming up to March. I think he's a smashing horse. Envoy Elena, I really fancied last year, so Protector broke my heart last year. I just hope he can fix it again this year, and fingers crossed he will do, because he looks to me, out of any looking through that field, he looks to me like the one that's still improving, as mad as it sounds, at 10 years old, and the most consistent.
Look, you can have a job at the Skeletons. Calm down, it's fine. We know how much you don't worry. Pete, what about you? What wins the Ryanair?
Yeah, I absolutely love Protector as well. And Harry says obviously about him improving. Like, that was a joint career best with obviously his Betfair Chase back in 22 on ratings. My only question, though, hopefully Nick can answer, is what's your thoughts, obviously, if the ground's like a little bit quicker? Because he's got a lot of form on softer. I don't know, like, obviously, any sort of concern?
Yeah, you're right. Most of his form is on soft ground. I mean, when we went for a Gold Cup a few years ago, we were praying that it was going to be soft ground. Obviously he's got all his best form on that, but that's got to be a concern. But I think the way he's training this year, I think he's coming into the race better than he did last year, to be honest. What I've seen, I've never sat on him. He's too decent for me to be sitting on. But from what I see of him, sort of from a distance behind him, he looks in great nick.
Yeah, I think he's got a huge chance. And obviously, Factor File, if he hadn't ran last time out, I think he was an absolute certainty for this. But I wasn't a massive fan of his last run. But I still think if he reverts back to his normal tactics, he's clearly the one to beat. But I thought Protector would be the each way bet of the week, especially if you get a bit of rain.
The three lads are there with Protector. Look, Ash, I'm going to save you because I know you really do like one of the stayers from Matty's team. Matty, you do have lucky places. Are you going to take his chance here in the stayers hurdle?
Yeah, he'll definitely run. He did his last bit of work this morning. He worked really, really well. The trip is a bit of an unknown for us, but Nicky, Nico, and everyone involved didn't think he'll stay. For me personally, I don't think he's a slogger, which I think you need to win this race. And I still think Tehupu is the one to beat, but I could see him if they go steady early on and it's not a frantic stayers hurdle, I think he'll be bang there turning in, and it's just whether he can get past the sloggers, including Tehupu and co. But he's in great form, and we're looking forward to running him.
And the ground maybe suit him all right as well in helping.
The ground will be absolutely fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, his form lines as well, very strong. Look, I'm gonna pass it to Ash, because Ash, I know you've been a big fan of Lucky Place. The form's been working out well. He won well at Ascot, then he's went to Cheltenham, and he's done the job. And yeah, he could be the one that's the unknown quantity, maybe, let's say, with a couple in here against last season's winner Tehupu.
I just like him. I just like him as a horse. I think he's the kind of horse I could go for a pint with and just have a good time. Like, he's just a solid horse. Like, turns up, does his job. Even last season, like when the Henson form wasn't great, he took plenty of runs out of Cheltenham. It was well documented how the horses were going, just with their general well-being. Lucky Place pitched up to the Coral Cup, and I genuinely think he would have given Langadan a proper race in that Coral Cup if Henson's stable form was in anywhere better than it was. I think he was really well handicapped last season. I know Langadan was well, but he was really well handicapped last season. He then comes this season. He's won really nice in the Ascot Hurdle. He's then won went onto the Relkeel and again travelled beautifully, won nicely. I actually think he won't mind the step up in trip. It's a bit of an unknown, and I completely agree with. Well, I completely see what Matty's saying there. He's maybe not the slogger type. He's a bit more of a sexier profile for the stayers, but he does look to sort of just stay on nicely. Like he did that in the Relkeel. He wasn't exactly like a travelly thing, like a My Mate Mozzie. He wasn't travelling all the way and found nothing. Like he came off the bridle as you normally would early enough in the race, and he stuck on nicely past Gal Road, who is a slogger, and he gave weight away. So I just like him. He's a nice horse, and he's not. This isn't how I envisioned this season going. He was one of my horses to follow. I thought he'd be potentially going to a Brown Advisor or something like that. I thought he was going to be a novice chaser, and he is probably going to be a novice chaser next season. But he's got a great chance of winning a Stayers Hurdle. And I fancy him in this. I just think it's an open enough race. I suppose Rocky's Diamond is really unexposed for the Irish, having won at Gorham Park last time out in the Galmoy, but he is the other unexposed horse, and he's hopefully, fingers crossed, better. So I like Lucky Place in the Stayers. He'd be one for me.
Yeah, two lads like Lucky Place. Look, to get by Gowl Road, I think, look, he's a tough cookie get past. Nick, I'm going to come across to you. Everyone, look, get them comments in. Ash is going to put some comments up. Everyone wants to know, have the ulcers gone from Langadan? Is the sun in March bringing the best out of him? What's happening?
Ash was saying about going for a pint with Lucky. I can tell you one thing you wouldn't want to do is go for a pint with this lad. He'd get you killed in a pub. He'd be the first one scrapping. Honestly, I think people are starting to believe us now that he is a nightmare. Honestly, I don't know what's going to happen with this horse. Genuinely, he is a nightmare. I see him come off the gallop 2 weeks ago. He jig-jogged off the gallops. I see him come off 10 days ago. He dragged himself off the gallop. He's just his own character, and we're massively taking on trust that he's going to rock up and run a race. I'd love to be able to come on here and be the clever big bollocks and say, oh yeah, he's going to piss up, and everyone think I'm real clever and smart, but I honestly don't have a freaking clue. I don't know.
Look, generally, because look, Nicky, he gets penalised for being so open and honest, and then you've got Dan. Look, he generally says we don't know what's happening with Langadan.
I know, and everyone thinks we're taking the piss, but I promise you that I think this season we've proved that we don't have a clue. One thing I've worked for Dan for a long while now. He doesn't normally get things wrong. He is sharp. He doesn't miss anything. We are scratching our head on this horse, praying he just turns up.
Fair dues, fair play. Okay, Pete. Look, to you, Boo. Maybe give us a line on him. Can he still go back into that? He's had a long time off, but that's by design. They've missed certain races, but we kind of know he goes well fresh. Can he win it again?
Yeah, he can, but I'm just not. I'm sat on the fence with him at the moment. I'm just going to wait and see what the ground ends up like, and see what this final field's like. I think if you've got horses like the Wool Park and stuff that come here, then it makes you a lot more interested. I thought Langadan was a dark horse of the race, but obviously now I know that you are literally rolling a dice as to what horse turns up. Because a lot of his form last year, especially from obviously March onwards with Imperi Pass and stuff, it's all easily strong enough to be a player in amongst like Gowl Road, Lucky Place, Home by the Lee. I think it's ran in this 3 times now. I know obviously he's been a different horse this year, apparently got a new work rider, but there's not many horses that win this having not won it the year before, let alone 4 years later. So I'm just going to sit this one out until I see the ground close to the time. And I think Tiapu will probably drift because there seems to be quite a lot of negativity around him.
Yeah, what price? So just quickly, what price would you bet?
Well, I've already backed him. I backed him at 4-1. In April, and my words literally on the website was, we'll back him now, put a point on him, and then we'll come see where we're at and look for other horses to beat him in the time. And then I said the same in October. I said we'll back him at 5-2, put a point on him then, for anyone who hadn't done it then. And I just said we'll look for horses, use obviously the profit to back other horses. But as far as I got was I backed the Wool Park non-runner each non-runner no bet 16-1 each way. And Langadan, depending on your bookmaker, you could have got 25-1 to 50-1, and that was a tiny bet. But that's as far as I got. Like I can't find anything to beat him, but I've also still not warmed to the horse, despite him being better last year and proving it on better ground at Punchestown.
Fair dues. Look, we'll go on. Harry, I'm going to come to you for Thursday. So anything else from you as well? And again, rolling that with the best bet and then best each way.
No, it's a tricky day, the Thursday, I think, but I'm gonna go Protector as my best bet, and Jaguar is one that I think is just so well in, and I just think he'll win the.
Put up on our show as well.
Yeah, 6-1. So actually, compared to last year, I'm actually going there with a few runners, which is always nice to have. Never mind chances. So fingers crossed, Jaguar can do the business and Protector out as well.
Yeah, fair play. Ash, what about you?
The Thames is a race that I have an awful record in, a really awful record in. So I wouldn't listen to anything I'm about to say in the next 30 seconds. But I just thought the one that was a slightly bigger price for the Henry Daly yard, Supreme Gift. I think he's just a really, really nice horse. And like I was listening to something that Willie Justin Davis said the other day. Yes, I know the man who loves his horses more than he loves anything else in the world. Fair play to him. But he said this Guard the Moon is a really well handicapped horse. But you have to go through some bits of form that sort of direct you back towards Supreme Gift, but it works in favour of Supreme Gift. Guard the Moon was second to Harbour Lake at Aintree in November. Supreme Gift then went and beat Harbour Lake. I forget where it was now. Was it Wincanton or something like that? So I think he's got a good chance based on that piece of form. He comes in here in it's slightly disappointing for having gone over to Leopardstown and been a bit disappointed at DRF, but he's a big price now as Supreme Gift. You're getting paid something like 40-1 for him, 50-1 in places. Like, he's a nice chance. He's got a rating of 136. He won up 135, but he beat Harbour Lake at Market Raisin. It was so he looks fairly handicapped, and he's just like, to the eye when he's won, like he sprints away at Ascot in March 2024. He looks like a really, really nice horse. 8-year-old. He's the right age. I think he'd have a chance at the Thames. Just on the Ryanair, it may be a bit more heart over head, but I put up Hartwood at a big price. I think like 25-1 on the video. He's now 16-1. I'd probably say it's as short as he's going to get, and I'd probably say it's as short as you want to back him, to be honest. Like, he's got a good chance as Hartwood. I think he's got a nice chance based on his Savills Chase run. I did watch a preview. I think it's the We're Going Chasing preview with Rob Aitchison of Rob Core, who said that Hartwood's kind of got half a chance, but nothing too serious. And I think he could run on into a nice race, Hartwood in the Ryanair. What else? There was one more. Oh yeah, in the plate. I'm getting quite sweet on Ginny's Destiny. I know the Paul Nichols. I'm getting really quite sweet on Ginny's Destiny, to be honest now. There was a piece of work he did the other day, according to Paul, and it was quite nice. I think he's got a good chance. Like, he's dropped through the handicap. He's now got to a mark of 149. That is a long way off where he started this season. And considering he was running into the likes of Grey Dawning and stuff last season, I think he's a well-handicapped horse. Like, he started this season on 155. He's down to a mark of 149. I read an article from Matt Toombs who said that if you backed every British horse blind that started the season on a higher mark and dropped down to a lower mark by the time we got to the festival, if you back them blind over the last 3 years, you'd be dead level on a level stake. I think Ginny's Destiny's got a great chance in the plate. If he comes back to his best form, I think he's going to be well handicapped. My best chance, I know what a great start that is, eh? My best chance.
Yeah, I was just saying it, but you don't make anything.
Hey, better than losing. Better than my usual record. My best bet would be Lucky Place in the Stayers, and my best each way. I've sold myself Ginny's Destiny in the plate.
Yeah, you've sold the devil with that one. Matty, I'll come to you. Jericho de Retney, is he going to take a chance in the Thames?
Yeah, he'll run. He'll definitely run. And I think we'll probably run Dolly the Great and Shanna Bob in there as well if they both sneak in at the bottom. Jericho's got a great chance. And if he puts his best foot forward, I think he'll go very close.
Just quickly, Matty, them three horses that you've named, they have so much potential, but maybe he's just not showing the hand.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Shanna Bob, I think he just hasn't really shown his form from over hurdles. We went chasing early on, and he didn't really take to that. The same with Doddy the Great. But I was very, very pleased with what I saw from Doddy at Haydock a couple of weeks ago. Cheap pieces back on. Well, for the first time, that sparked him up a bit, and Brian Hughes are very positive on him. And yeah, he'll go well. And Shannon Bob, he's a slogger. He'll stay. Just whether he's good enough. And the rest of the day, we will probably run both. Fantastic Lady, who has a bit of class about her, she will run in the Kim Muir. And Wise Guy, if he gets in as well. I don't know who we're going to get to ride them yet, but I'd be quite sweet on Fantastic Lady each way.
Matty, 2 questions. Will Fantastic Lady stay? And second of all, Nicky is super, this isn't a question, but Nicky is super bullish on Doddy the Great in the Potems. Like, he is, any preview listen to him, he is proper talking about Doddy the Great. Is this been just something he's quite quietly had in his mind for a while?
I'm not sure. He has been very, very disappointing this year. And I think the fact that Cheap Piece has sparked him back to life around a course that Nicky is notoriously got a bad record around Haydock. He doesn't like the place himself. But I thought he'd win that day. And he just kind of got a bit outstayed. But yeah, I wouldn't put you off him each way if he gets in.
Sorry, would you think Fantastic Lady will stay in the Kim Muir?
Oh yeah, I think she'll stay. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and she's got a bit of class as well.
Lovely.
What about your best bet for the Thursday?
Lucky Place in the Stayers.
Nice, thanks. Pete, what about anything else? Best bets and best each way?
Each way, one for me, just in the, could go in the 2 mile 4 novice, but I think he'll end up going into, is it the plate, the 2 mile 4? Yeah, and the Trust Trader plate. The company sergeant for Gavin Cromwell. He's only gone to Gavin Cromwell. He's had 1 start there so far, and that was over hurdles. He's transferred from Dennis Gerard Hogan. He's got some interesting back form that, although he's had 9 chase starts between now and last March, on his second start, he finished behind Mr. Policeman. Before then, he finished behind Spillane's. He finished within 6 lengths of Spillane's Tower with Tactical Move and Blood Destiny sandwiched in between them. And obviously, you look at the numbers. Blood Destiny's 152 rated, Tactical Move 145, Spillane's Towers 164. Like, we're not talking about like yokes. And then since then, he had a couple of runs through the summer. He had a win, a couple of seconds, nothing too much of note. And then I don't know when the plan began to form. Because his form started to peter off throughout the rest of the summer campaign. And then he signed across for Gavin Cromwell. He had 1 start for Gavin Cromwell where he was fairly eye-catching over hurdles. He ran to within 5 pounds of his hurdle best, which was fairly impressive after his 76-day break. I just think he's interesting on some of his back form. You look at all of those numbers, obviously they're, especially with the 6 lengths off Spillane's Towers, who's a 164 rated horse. He's only coming in here off 139. And even his career best for his previous trainer was 142. So that's 3 pounds. I mean, I'd like to think Gavin Cromwell can train most horses to within 5 or 10 pounds of what they've already achieved. He's only an 8-year-old. He's still a novice, and he'll have the option of the novice handicap. But I think he'll go to the plate just because it'll probably end up an easier race. I just think he could go well in each way price. One of those darker horses. He's around about 12 to 1.
Thank you very much. And Nick, what about you? Best bet on Thursday?
Well, we got one in the Potems, Catcham Derry. He won the qualifying race at Exeter a few weeks ago, and if I'm being honest, I think the winner of that race was a couple of places behind us. If you watch the video back of Nicky's Jericho, yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, I can see Matty there smiling.
Jericho.
Yeah. Oh God, I didn't say that. And then we've got Panic Attack in the plate as well. She's done nothing wrong. She's a classy mare. She won nicely at Windsor. They put her up a few for that, but look, she'll go there with a live chance. Best bet for me, obviously, Protector at, but my each way bet would actually be I can't pronounce it particularly well, but Summer Geest of Willie's in the Kim Muir. I would imagine that's what Patrick could ride. Just looking at the betting, that'd be my each way.
We're going to roll on to the final day. Just for everyone watching, look, stay tuned. We're going to rattle through them. We'll go through the triumph, but we will, the Albert Bartlett, I'm going to go around the room for the Albert Bartlett. I just want the winner. I don't want no explanation for the Spud race, because then we'll get a 1, 2, 3 for the Gold Cup. Look, we'll not focus on Galloping Deschamps. If you think he'll win, that's no bother at all. And then we'll get them handicap bets, because that's what people are focusing in for. We can waffle on about how much Galloping Deschamps is going to win, but we'll get a 1, 2, 3 in the Gold Cup, and then handicap bets. The Triumph is the first race to kick things off. We have Lulamba, Matty, won well last time out there at Ascot. The form slightly let down by Mondo Man, but just talk about us. Look, he's come from France. I know you're big on the breeding side of stuff there. He is a French bred, had one run there. He was all the rage. He had 25s, 10s, 4s, you know, any price you like, and he's been smashed in, and he's now vying for favouritism after that impressive win. What do you make of him, and how do the French recruits, how do they settle into your yard?
Yeah, when we sort of got him a bit sort of later on than we did when we got to Gino for this sort of race last year, and he is a bit more of a boyo. Like he likes to bounce around the place, and he but once you get him on the gallop, he's very, very straightforward. He's a lovely looking horse, lots and lots of ability, and he worked really well at Kempton the other day. He'll excuse me, will do his last piece of work on Thursday, and when we got him over, it took him a little bit of time to acclimatise to jumping English style hurdles, but it didn't take him long. You know, his natural ability put that right pretty quickly, and he'll go there with a massive chance, I'm sure.
What about Palladium? That's the German Derby winner, both for a lot of money as well. Could he match up to Lulamba or not?
I like Palladium, yeah. He's a very, very fresh boy. You know, you could probably throw the kitchen sink at him, being a colt still. He takes everything in his stride, and we'll have to see how good he is. You know, I thought he shaped with promise at Huntingdon myself. He learned on the job, and I'm pretty sure he'll run a big race. And I don't know who will get to ride him yet. Whether Bowen can ride him or not is yet to be heard. But he'll go there, and hopefully he'll run well, and then he'll have a nice flat campaign in the summer.
If you had a choice, who would you take? Who's working best at the minute?
They both rate really well, but if I was Nico de Boinville, I would take Lulamba just as he is, you know.
Nice, fair dues. Ash, I'll come to you. East India Dock, impressive in some trails. Is he idea the winner now? He's very strong in the market.
Yeah, he's short enough now, but he's my idea of the winner. Just think he's got the best form, and he's shown more, I think. And like I could be reading this completely wrong, but all season, like, you know, you've asked Nicky Henson, or you listen to Nicky Henson when talk about Lulamba, and you sort of see tweets about it and stuff. And like he's sweet on the horse. Like he thinks the horse is grand, but like he's not exactly. You know, you'd say you could get a twinkle from Nicky about other horses that are in the yards more than Lamba kind of thing. Like Lamba's probably a grand horse, and you know, Matty said he's a grand horse there, but like maybe he's like I don't know, he's just maybe not the sort of like this being made out to be this sort of certainty in the Triumph. Whereas I think James Owen is quite bullish on East India Dock, and I can see why. Like he's just got really, really good form. He looks like a really smart operator. You can stick him at the front. You can put him out the back of the field. You can put him anywhere, and he'll be picking up nicely. I'd fancy East India Dock, and yeah, he's my winner. He's my idea of the winner in the Triumph Hurdle.
And lovely. Harry, I'll give it to you. I'll go to Pete for the Spud race. Harry, so look, East India Dock won the trails. Lamba, High Post, and impressive last time out. Hello Neighbour, Grade 1 winner. And then you got the Palladium, who's plenty of money, and German Derby winner. It's kind of open enough. Who's your winner?
I don't care about that. Matty, what price did you get Lulamba at? Now, we know the whole yard got a massive price. What price did you get him at? You can admit it to us now.
I'm not a gambler.
Oh, okay. Well, look, I think Lulamba will win. I just think that the vibes that came flying off that yard, you very rarely see an exchange move in the space of a few days like that, and
What price
it just
did you
kept
get?
coming.
That's what I want to know.
Well, I did that. Me and you are fiends for it. Those to win today and to win an Ascot. So I've got him and John Bonks. They both ran on the same day in a double at 20-1. So fingers crossed that can go in. So we can cheer him on. And look, he's just. I think Nicky, obviously after last year, obviously the antics of the yard being slightly under the weather. I just think that he's just going to unleash hell on Cheltenham this year, and it's just going to be carnage, and it's going to be Nicky Henderson Wonderland. Just going to have. I'm going to be rocking up, and if it's all gone to plan, I'll have my little face mask of Mr. Henderson on at the top of Cheltenham.
Just mention as well, Gavin Lynch was on our anti-post video. He did say, so look, if you do fancy East India Dock, Mary's a couple bet as well. You can do them 17-1, the double, I think it is. Stencil to win the Fred Winter and East India Dock. Look, the form ties in. There's a few races like that where you can get the form tied in. And if you do fancy East India Dock, Stencil might be a good bet in the Fred Winter. And he suggested it around 17-1 instead of playing the 2-1 for East India Dock in this. Look, I'll go around. I'm going to start with you, Pete. I just want the winner of the Spud race, Albert Bartlett. No explanation needed. We're going to focus on the Gold Cup. Pete, who wins the Albert Bartlett?
Derry Hassan Paddy.
Oh, well, that's a big price as well, isn't it? That's a nice shout. I like that. Listen to Russell's, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. Ash, what about you?
Nice horse, that Derry Hassan Paddy, by the way. The big Westerner, for me, quite sweet on her.
Like her as well. A very nice choice. Harry, what about you?
I don't care about this race. I've not looked at it.
That's what Harry. Do you have any prep on your screen, or is it just full
you know
of
what he has? He just has Nicky Henderson and Dan Skelton runners.
That's it. That's literally it. And then I've got my dog wearing Harry Skelton, like a face mask of Harry Skelton running around. So that's it. That's it. No, I just think there's so many in there that could be going to Turners and whatnot. So I'm happy to leave it.
And look, Matty, have you got a one for the Spud race? You like anything in here?
We could. I don't know how likely it is. Run Native Hill, that one at Huntingdon the other day. He could take out quickly. He's a nice horse. He cost a pretty penny, and he will love to step up and trip to 3 miles. But whether we'll turn
from the other day, it was very interesting. I didn't know if he was going to be tailed off at one point. He's went again at the lane. Yeah,
he surprised me a little bit. I mean, his work at home wouldn't set you alight now, but I like the way. I imagine he took a good blow after the second last and turning in, and he picked up really well. And I think he was the winner anyway before John Joe's thing fell. And the step up to 3 miles will suit him no ends. But whether he goes there or Aintree or Punchestown, I'm not sure.
Yeah, look, he might run in this because he is Ronnie Bartlett owned, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So, look, there's one for the race for you. Nick, fancy anything in this race?
Not particularly, no. We haven't got a runner in the race.
No problem at all. So we'll go on to the main race, the feature race of the day and maybe of the week. Look, everyone's going to be rooting for Galopin Des Champs. 3 Gold Cups. It could make history. A long time since, 21 years since Best Mate done it, Arkle and such like. But long time between drinks. Pete, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to go around the room. I want 1, 2, 3 because... Look, I know you're a massive fan of Galopin Des Champs. Everyone's kind of fell in love with him. That win the last time, I feel like he saved a lot in preparation for this race, and surely it's his to lose. But what's a 1, 2, 3? What's going to be running behind?
I think a lot's going to depend on the ground. So obviously, if Banbridge gets to run, he's got to be. Obviously, he's going to become the wise guy horse because he's not raced against him before. He gets his ground. Will he stay the trip? Everyone's associating him with the old size and John. But the issue is, like, obviously, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I have had a small saver, but it's not going to win back my funds on Galopin Des Champs. But, like, he's got to not only meet his level, as in prove he stays the 3 miles. He's got to improve for that extra 2 furlongs, and that's what every horse seems to lack. Some can get that 3 miles, but they can't improve for that extra 2 furlongs. He's taken 2 horses to the well in the last 2 years, Brave Mountains Game and Jerry Colomb. Both of them ran well again within 4 weeks after, but then after that, they've both just disappeared off the planet. And it's been really unfortunate. And so I think Banbridge is the obvious one. But for me, if I'm going 1, 2, 3, based on the ground that we've currently got, I'd go Galloping Deschamps, Banbridge, and say La Home Press.
Okay. Nick, I'll come to you next. Give us the 1, 2, 3 in the Gold Cup.
I wasn't quite sure what Factor File's plan was, whether he was going for the Ryanair or for this, but I had them as Galopin, Banbridge, Factor File. But I've got a massive love-hate relationship with Galopin Deschamps. I think he's a lovely, lovely horse. But when we rocked up for the boys' race a fair few years ago, 139 with Langadan, and we thought this was the biggest certainty on earth.
Yeah. Were you going for the bonus that year, Nick? Were you going for the bonus as well?
Yeah, he won he won the Sandown race, didn't he? The Imperial
Cup, yeah.
Yeah, Lorcan Williams rode him, and we thought he was a good thing that day. And then this horse called Gallopin Deschamps rocked up and sent us home with tail between his legs. But apparently he didn't turn out too bad in the end, did he? So
no.
To be fair, of all the horses that deserved a good kicking, it's got to be Langadan.
Yeah, he's taken a bit of punishment tonight, the poor little lad.
Yeah, he has got a bit of flack. Matty, what about you? The 1, 2, 3 in the Gold Cup, who do you like?
It's got to be Gallopin, Banbridge, and I just say...
Will there even be another runner? That's the thing. It's going to be a small field in the Gold Cup.
I would leave it at Gallopin and Banbridge just to fill the first 2.
Yeah, look, the bottom 3 lads there are going with Banbridge to be run out to Gallopin Deschamps. Ash, what about you? Give the 1, 2, and maybe 3?
Gallopin will win, just hoping for a good day. I know the way you're thinking. If they supplement him, I'd say he can run into a nice place, but I don't know if they're going to the race.
I hope they don't. I know the way you're thinking. Favourite for the Grand National.
Are they saving for the Grand National, are they?
No. I said he was favourite for the Grand National.
Oh.
Obviously, if they want to supplement, they decide apparently this Saturday coming. So they decide if they want to supplement him.
Well, if he gets supplemented, he'd be my idea of the runner-up, and Monty Starr would be the third. If I know the way you're thinking doesn't, I don't really have too much of an opinion, but the real whacker, because I'm sentimental. But I don't think Banbridge will stay. That's my main opinion on the Gold Cup. I don't think he'll stay. I don't think he really showed a true trait of stamina, like as much people may be saying he did in the King George. I think he sort of like the field maybe came back to him slightly a little bit in the King George, and I'm not sure he'll stay in the race.
Just on that, sorry, Ash, that now you've said that, I've reminded me that in the King George, Paul Townend, because obviously he rode Banbridge, didn't he? When he got off, he turned around and he said, they asked him about would he stay the Gold Cup trip. And he said he didn't think he'd have any issue staying the Gold Cup trip, but he didn't think he would improve for the trip. Yeah. So I've completely forgotten about that.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Yeah. He said he wouldn't improve for it, but he wouldn't mind it staying. Harry, what about you? I'm going to give you the last word as well as the 1, 2, 3. But how great of an atmosphere would it be if we had a third Gold Cup for Gallopin Deschamps?
I'll tell you what, there'll be some atmosphere regardless when he goes out to the track, like Ash has mentioned and everyone else has. There won't be many in this, so we could see him going off at what price you name it. It's probably going to be shorter than what you name. I just think if he goes in, like especially if the shorties have gone in that week, there'll be that many Accas and trebles and fourfold, everything lying on to Gallopin. If he goes in, that place will be bouncing. And obviously, it's quite interesting actually. The Bartlett is now the race before. I didn't know that.
It was last year as well. It's the Mayor's Chase.
I thought they've moved the Bartlett to 320. The Gold Cup's at 4, and then the Mayor's Chase is before the Gold Cup. I could be wrong, but I'm sure they mixed them around. But someone I'd happily be proven wrong on that.
I think just the Mayor's Chase, because the Mayor's Chase was after. It's now just before the Gold Cup, but it is still the Bartlett and then the Gold Cup.
Oh, fair enough. Well, there you are then. But no, fingers crossed, Galopin wins, and that'll be that.
Any 2, 3 for you? Was your Banbridge as well? Or?
Well, I'd say Banbridge for the second, and I'd say Long Press as well. I think Long Press he'd run well. He ran well in it last year.
Okay, most are sweet on Banbridge to finish runner up, take Galopin Des Champs. Look, if one thing I can ask in from everybody, I know they're thinking the same thing. Everybody in racing, look, get behind Galopin Des Champs. Let's cheer him home. Let's put racing on the front pages for good reasons and sell this sport because it's a great sport. And I think this can put them or put us on the map for good reasons, I think. So third Gold Cup, look. I'll be cheering on, that's for sure. Lads, we'll roll on. Look, we're time conscious as well, so we're just going to try and condense it in. Just give a few lines, max 2 minutes. Anything else from the Friday? Matty, anything else you got from the handicaps?
We have 10 entered in the boys' race. I think
wow.
We'll probably only run 2 or 3 that would definitely get in, and I'd give East India Express the best chance of our lot in that. Freddie Gordon will probably take the ride.
Would you know who would be riding in that type of race or not?
Oh, East India Express.
Yeah,
Freddie Gordon will keep the ride on him. He won on him at Ascot and at Kempton on 27th, I think. But yeah, he'll keep the ride on him. And we could run No Ordinary Joe. He broke my heart. I let him up when he got beat by Iroko. Luca Morgan didn't sit long enough and he didn't do a stroke in front and your man come by with 50 yards to go. And he broke my heart, but yeah, he'll probably run a big race again.
He broke my wallet and all, I'm not going to lie. Nick, what about you? Anything else from the Friday?
Yeah, I've got my bet of the week in the county.
Here we are. Unleash, Nick. Unleash. Fire away.
Yes. Not only that. Well, look, don't tell everybody, Nick. But also, you're a big point-to-point. You give me last year, nominate who won the Hunters Chase. Look, give us the Hunters Chase winner because that's a minefield as well. But yeah, I know you're sweet on one in the county.
Yeah, look, the Fox Hunters this year, I think, is probably as open as I've seen it for donkey's years. There's nothing in there, I think, from the Brits that's probably going to be up to scratch this year. But I think there's an Irish horse in there. Will It Go Ahead of Sean Doyle's? It looks a real progressive 7-year-old. It's won its points. It's been second in the Hunt Chase, and it won it third in January, I think it was. Like he looks like he's an improving sort that could go and be competitive in the Fox Hunters. We've got a bit like Matty, we've got a stack in the boys race like we have in the Potemps and in the Coral. I don't know what we're going to run in the boys race. I see we've confirmed a couple, but they're not definite runners, so I couldn't speculate too much on what we're going to run in the boys race. One thing I know is whatever doesn't run and rocks up at Utoxeter on Saturday, there's a nice 50 grand handicap there that we like winning, so they're all entered in that, I would imagine, as well. So keep an eye out for Utoxeter on the Saturday. But
if you need anyone there, Nick, representing, I'm more than willing to be down there because I will be down there. So if you've got one that's nailed on, then
I normally end up at Utoxeter myself on the Saturday. Everyone's had enough of racing by the end of the week, and I normally end up at Utoxeter on the Saturday. So I'll see you there. Valgrand in the county. I think he's so well handicapped. I think he's. It's going to be very, very ground dependent for me personally. I think he's going to be a lot better horse on decent ground. So any drying ground towards the end of the week, I'm getting more revved. He's down to a mark of 134. He won a nice race, grade 2, and he looked really impressive, I thought, in October. Got subsequently beat over 2-5 by Potter's Charm, and then he got beaten a couple of handicaps. But he'd been on the go a long time. This horse had won at Bangor and Utoxeter, I think it was, in May, and he had a small little break and then cracked on in the autumn. he's been kept now since sort of January time, Christmas time for this. And yeah, the drier the ground, the more I'm going to get involved.
Yeah, look, Ash, I'll come to you. Anything else? Give us your best bet as well of Friday.
I had a fun time down at Dan's when we went as the media pack, and it was sort of like they paraded Valground, and then it's speaking to Dan. It's like, so what do you think the chances are, Dan? And I'm sure you'll speak to you'll know the sort of twinkle that Dan has in his eye, Nick. But it was like, it just at Christmas we really wouldn't fancy it for the county, and then now he's just something's coming about, and it's really clicking now with this horse. We're starting to get the sort of whispers he might be right there. You're like, right, okay, into the notebook. I'd give Valgrand a chance in the county just for everything that Nick said there. I think he's not a bad price. I just think that there's not many well-handicapped horses in the county, but I think he could be one of them. I think Hansard's got a chance there at 25s. He's on a mark of 142. He got pushed up £2 for his run behind Golden Ace and Burdett Road at Wincanton last time out. I think if he hadn't got that, I would have been a lot sweeter on him. But he's got a good chance. He's got some nice form from last season, winning the Jerry Field and running well in some good races there at Ascot behind like Lucia and Impostoire and everything. So I'd give Hansard a chance in the county. I think the forgotten horse in the Mayor's Chase, if it's good ground, so very much like Nick's on about for Valgrand, if it's good ground, Bride's Hill has been sort of plotted back towards the Mayor's Chase, and reading some comments from Gavin Cromwell that the last run just gets her spot on for the Mayor's Chase. If she rocks up the Mayor's Chase, I'd be quite sweet on her. And yeah, I was quite sweet on East India Express in the boys' race. If he got in, I wasn't sure if he was going to get in or not, but if he got in, I'd be sort of weighing into East India Express, I say. But yeah, looks tough enough on Friday for sort of value betting propositions, I'd say.
Fair dues. Harry, what about you? Anything else? What's your best bet?
For Friday itself, I'd say Lalamba. I think in the Triumph, I just think that he's good lad, Matty. You'll be sharing your 20-to-1 slip on, and you can. Yeah, I can see you smirking away there. No, I think that I did actually speak to a few people about will it go ahead at work. It's quite weird in the Hunter's Chase that Nick mentioned, but I'd have no idea about a Fox Hunter, so that's what I'd say. But no, I'll stick with Alhambra as my best bet.
Findog says, who does he say? Ash. Findog says, in the Hunter's Chase, Rockies, how are you? 25-1 nap of the week. Cheers, Findog. Pete, what about you? Did I get your best bet for Friday? Sorry.
No. I've just got 2 races. I like the County and I like the Martin Pipe. The County, obviously, 9 of the last 10 winners come from between Skelton and Mullins. They just seem to rotate each year. So maybe this year it's Valgrand and Skelton's going to take it home. I do like Absurd off just £8 higher. I think with the ground drying, a lot will come down to 1, obviously, if he actually runs, and 2, will he be Paul Townend's pick? He's obviously not a straightforward horse. He needs to be ridden cold. So a lot will come down to if he's the chosen one. Following Willie in the county. And then in the Martin Pipe, I thought I was really onto one with Tap on the Go, but unfortunately the handicapper thought I was onto one as well, and he's absolutely smashed him. I mean, he went down the handicap over in Ireland, and he got dropped £1 for doing his, I am trying, honestly. A bit like Valgrand, I am trying, honestly. And then the BHA said, no, mate, you're getting £7. He's just been absolutely walloped. He's probably on a more realistic mark. It's not to say he can't win off this. I mean, he beat McLaurie 9 lengths. His form with Old Man Dingle is strong, with him finishing 4th at the DRF. Form behind James's Gate, form behind William Money. It was all adding up nicely. Step Up and Trip was going to suit. Sneak in here off the bottom weight. But he has been walloped £7. So whilst I still think he's got a chance, it's not as obvious anymore. I did back Wadu, obviously just before the crowd joined, as in at the double figure prices. Chance is obvious, obviously, with the likes of that form boost with Joyeuse. And I know none of us have mentioned it, but obviously probably everyone, if anyone's watching this, probably everyone's very aware of Kopek Demi. I do think he is so, wherever he goes. I mean, you can say, oh, I'm not going to back him because of the things and the Gaelic Warrior, but his form over in France with Caram Le Rouge, Caram Le Rouge beat Kitzbühel and obviously beat Cowabunga. And you look at what those horses are rated over here. Kit's Bull's now a 150 horse. Cowabunga is probably a high 130s, low 140s horse. Would have probably been second favourite, maybe third favourite for the Turners. This horse hops in here off 136, having beaten Caramel Rouge 4.5 lengths. His form in France is strong. I've got, obviously, the handicapper says I had to rate in this. I've got no idea how he's managed getting off this rate. Like, if you did it properly, he could be like, you could rate him off those run-ins as a 150 plus horse, and he's on 136. So he could be 14. But I know you've got the Gaelic Warrior factor where he's not run for the stable, blah, blah, blah. But the vibes are that he's strong at home. I've got no idea whether he'll go here, the County, or the Coral. The Coral will be the hardest because it's obviously a hustle. It's a hustle and bustle race. The County, Willie Mullins has probably got 5 or 6 that he could run here. So he'd get in off here. So it's restricted to 145. And if I had a plot and I had a conditional who I could trust on this is where I'd line him up for. And it'd be no surprise if he runs here. It means McLaurie probably won't for JP, which means obviously he's got Wadu, East India Express, and a few of the others to beat.
Thank you very much. What was your best bet? Sorry.
The
Friday.
I think Kopek to me will win whichever race he goes to on the Friday, whether it's a County or here. I just think he's very strongly well in. I know people will argue with it, but we'll see.
No, I get it. Look, Chris said the new lion is the late of the whole meeting, and then Dale said Skelton, he hopes 5 winners. He's hoping so. He thinks 5 winners for the Skeltons. Lads, I'm going to come back here in a second. I'll do the T's and C's while you gather your thoughts, because I need the best bet of the whole week for everybody. Maybe they can have a lucky 31 there for you 5. The best bet of the whole week, and the best each way bet as well. So the whole week, I'll give you a few seconds just while I rattle this off. So again, thanks to Hacked Up Racing for their bundle gift. Go and check them out. They've got plenty of good offers there, and we'll get one of them comments, a winner picked, and I'll tweet that out. Ash, have you got a winner of the free bet? Who was the best? I think someone about Langatan. It was he did take pelters, but it was a funny comment way back. Have you picked the winner of the 30?
Yeah, this guy on YouTube, Chris. He's been commenting all night. To be fair to him, so he's been giving it a good go. And I thought Langer the Shumps will win the Coral Cup in the Stayers Hurdle. That was a nice funny comment. So that
he asked me for the free bet there, Chris. You've got it. Langer the Shumps will win both races. He's saying, Chris, look, we'll sort that out. If you can, just comment. I shall message you back, and we'll get that £30 free bet sorted for you, and we'll get that bundle sent out as well. Look, please do go and subscribe as well. It is all free. Hit the like button. Do comment in. We'll try and comment back as well. And go and check us out on Twitter as well. Follow all the lads. Look, them 3 lads at the bottom, the 3 nicest lads you could speak to. I really do appreciate that time. And, of course, I love these 2 as well. Go and follow everybody across on Twitter. Ash, you're going to put the Twitter handles up with you in the video as well?
Yes, they will be, yeah.
You know, we put them up as well. And, look, you can watch this back. You can tell all your friends, share it about. We'll get it posted up as well. Right, so this is the moment everyone's been waiting for, the best bet. So the best bet, best each way. I don't need no explanation. We're going to have a lucky, I'm sure, as well. I'll start with the guests. So first of all, Nick, look, we really do appreciate your time on the show. We really do wish your yard well. Look, you had 4 winners last season as well. Dale there commenting before, he thinks you're going to have 5. So best of luck with it. But what's your best bet of the week and your best each way, please?
Valgram best bet and Broadway Boy each way.
Very nice. And again, Matty, look, the apple of your eye is Constitution Hill. Everybody loves him, and we hope he runs well. Look, we hope he's fitting well. And again, for your yard, and especially the time taken tonight, we really do appreciate it, Matty. But what's the best bet? Are you look, you've got to stick with your lad, I suppose. But what's the best bet, best each way?
Constitution Hill for me. But if you were pushing me, I would go the Lumber and the Triumph Hurdle, and each way East India Express in the boys' race.
Nice. You're hoping for a good Friday there. Pete, again, look, thank you for your time. Pete, where can everybody find you? What's the website? riskforrewards.co.uk. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, spot on, mate. Or obviously they can find me on Twitter. Just type in Risk for Rewards. Best bet. In fact, my best each way bet, providing hopefully he runs, will be Jericho Roque in the National Hunt Chase. He's still around 16-1. I'm really quite sweet on him, but obviously I'd like softer ground. I just think he'll get it on day one. I know there's a lot of hot horse in there. As far as just stand up winner, I do think Kopek to me will win a handicap, more than likely the Martin Pipe. And if you're looking for a short one, I would expect Kopek de Boers to win the Supreme.
Yes, I hope so. Look, just a shout out to them lads as well. They're really good lads. Like, what I love the enthusiasm that they had at the Dublin Racing Festival. And look, every dream is still alive when you're going into that Supreme. So good luck to the McCarthy's there as well. Ash, I'll come to you next. Your best bet and best each way.
I'm going to go for the new line in the Turners. He's going to be my best bet, I'd say. And my best each way, Lord, Broadway Boy in the Ultima. I think he's got a great chance.
Yeah, look, Nick, happy with that, lad. And Harry, what about you? You get the final say of a little man. Come on now. What's the best bet? Best?
Ash just ruined me there with the new line. But no, I'm going to go with.
Don't be bullied out of it. If you want the new line, go for it.
I'm going John Bond in the Champion Chase. I think he's got. Look, he's the rest of them just aren't up to his level. You know, John Bond could have found the more perfect Champion Chase to find himself in. He's coming there in the form of his life. People crabbing him about, his Cheltenham form. Well, it's the only place he's actually been beaten. And you know, if you wouldn't have made a pig's ear out the fence at the top of the hill, then he'd be arriving here. Then with no questions asked, really. So I think he's a pretty much bulletproof. And I'll go with best each way. I'd say each way to nothing, really. I think take no chances in the Mare's Hurdle. I think she's with this race cutting up. I think you're going to get plenty of. Then you're going to get a good run for your money, and she won't be 14th on the day.
Yeah, look, the Irish don't even need to turn up. Yeah, we've literally sold the Brits.
We may as well just back the Pressbury Cup. You know, like I saw like 14-1 at some point.
Look, if you're Irish, look, the lads, these two have bigged their 2 yards up like no tomorrow. It hasn't just been look, it's been a brilliant show, but we really wish Team Skelton and Team Nicky Henderson as well the best of luck. And look, thanks to all the lads for joining us. Thanks to you as well. And like I say, hit that subscribe and like, and you can watch this back. But we really do appreciate the time. We will be back on Saturday. We'll cover the ITV race, and it is the Imperial Cup at Sandown. And then next week, look, Ash and Harry and myself, look, I'll be on Odds Check. Go and check out the columns to get all the best bets for each day as well. Them 2 lads will be back the following one. Maybe it's at Utoxeter, but I'll be flying back from Cheltenham. So if you're at Cheltenham, come and say hello. Every single one of us will be at Cheltenham, I believe. Nick, Matty, are you both going?
Yeah, I'll be there.
I normally end up at Huntingdon on Wednesday, so I could be anywhere. Honestly, a few years ago, we won the county with Chittibello, and I watched it on a screen smaller than my phone in the Tote building at Fakenham, and it was the happiest and most saddest I've ever been.
Fair dude, look, if you see Nick at Huntingdon, go and say hello. And if you see Matty, look, he'll be around with Constitution Hill. And if you see any of us, I'm sure, look, Pete's got more money than all of us put together, so go and take me back in. Look, we'll wrap things up. Thank you very much, everyone. Take care. We really appreciate it. Take care.
Cheers.